and just the bigger idea of what TouchPix is, how it works for you, how it's going to integrate with your 360, and how we can make this an easier process so that you can go through this process, you can feel confident setting up your first event. One big part of it is when you set up your event, you want to make sure that once you do it once, you want to understand every section. You want to understand what numbers mean what. If you're changing the slow-mo number and it's creating a really slow video, or just where to go to if you were at an event and you want to kind of fix something. So the big thing I really want you to learn from here is where you're going to for different aspects of the software. So as we go through that, I'm going to go over a few things with you at first to kind of make sure you kind of know what to do. So one big thing I will always tell you before your event, make sure you test. Nothing beats testing. As we go through our events and we're going to, have a weekend, a new software may come out, something may happen. So the more you test before you leave and go to that event, you really want to make sure that you're testing your software, your 360, possibly your sending, anything that you maybe had an issue with before, but just make sure that you know how that event is going to work once you get there and how that software is going to work for you. Second thing, make sure you have the needed things. So, lighting is crucial, like we just talked about. You need to have lighting around your 360. You need to have lighting overhead. The more light, the better. One big thing on my videos, people always ask about my videos. A big part of it is that I just have lighting around it that has worked wonderfully for me. I've done a lot of research before this. I've asked a lot of questions. So, first thing is, if you're in our Facebook group, ask questions, feel free to answer. You may get some people who answer a question the wrong way. You may get some people who are very helpful, but at the end of the day, the group is meant for you to be able to answer questions, for myself, the other moderators to be able to help you, but then also for the group as a whole, because as we all learn, we go back and we want to make sure that we're teaching others and helping others get through the same things that we've been through. So asking questions is going to be a big part of it. If anyone's not a part of that Facebook group, it's TouchPix, one word, users group. TouchPix users group. You want to make sure you add yourself into the group. It's a great source of knowledge. And I'm going to also type in here for you. TouchPix users group is going to be inside the chat, so you can go ahead and make sure you add yourself to that users group. This call is going to be done every week. We're going to do this every Wednesday at 8:15. Myself, DJ1, who will be in here soon, and others will be pretty much just going through the whole call, and we're going to make sure that we're here to support you, show you how everything works. Another thing, just make sure before your event, we're doing speed tests. So I'm on the speed test site right now. It's two ways to do this. You can either go through speedtest.net, or you can download Speed Test on your iPhone. If you're testing on your actual device at the event, make sure you have the app. Don't use the website. When you go ahead and you search your speed, the big thing is right now, I'm not sure who has photo booths from previous, who's done photo booths in the past, or who's doing photo booths as the first time with a 360. The way that everything sends and uploads to the internet is strictly internet-based, meaning if you're trying to send your videos in your house and they're getting stuck and you're not getting any text messages, it's simply because your upload speed is typically going to be pretty low. So right now I'm doing a speed test. You have a download and an upload speed. What we really focus on with TouchPix is our upload speed, because that's what's going to make sure that we can send our videos out and make sure we don't have any problems. So typically when you're out and about, you may have a great download speed. You may be 200, 300, 400, but typically your upload speed can range from 1 to 100 or wherever that speed is in the area. But typically you'll see 5s and 10s, and those will be the speeds where it's going to be a little bit harder for you to get your videos out. So the first thing I do when I go to my event on my phone, I actually open the speed test app and I see what my upload speed is. So if it's between 1 and 7 or 8, I know it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to get my customers their videos. So then I'm going to revert to things like Airdrop, or I'm going to just set the expectation that the customer know, hey, we text your video today. Right now, the reception is kind of bad. They'll be like, yeah, I know my phone's going slow. So once we leave here, or once the internet kind of picks up, you'll get your picture. And a big part of what we do as photo booth operators and owners is that we have to make sure that we know how to set expectations and hold ourselves to our crowd. So just make sure you know how your internet is when you first start. Testing yourself a video, test if it reached your gallery, and then once you see these things, you'll know how your internet's going to perform for the rest of the night. and do like 5 or 6 videos and really like put it through a little test before you start. And that's going to be a big part of, how your night goes. Because the last thing I want you to say is, my customers kept coming to me saying they weren't receiving videos. If you know your internet is slow, you should let them know beforehand your videos will take a little bit longer to receive tonight because we have bad internet. So if you come to them first with that, it's going to resolve them coming to you with a complaint. So just kind of keep that in mind. And it's just something that we see in the group a whole lot. 2, use a group to find answers, to ask questions. It'll be a big part of where we are. The TouchPix website has a lot built in. And what we really want to show you is it's a few places you can go on here. So as you can log in to TouchPix and you can create an event, there's also a few areas before you even get there that has a ton of information. So if you look on the top right here under support, I heard a lot of people talking about 360s and automatic ones and manual ones. There's an area where you can actually go in, and we've listed all the 360 companies, and you can go through them, you can see their pricing, you can go talk to them, but we've given you a resource to know all these areas. We have some different areas here. The different phones you can use: iPhone 11 Pro, 12. So any 11 or 12 iPhone is a great use. The GoPro Hero 7 is recommended, but also the 8 is fine. It shows you some lighting here. So we've given you a lot of things that you can really kind of start off with and really build your business and have like some of those options without having to ask questions. We have a page for tutorials. It's going to give you the getting started videos, how to do GoPro, green screens, animated overlays, and sharing station. So this is all a big part of just what we've already added to the site for you to make it a little bit easier. And then, of course, we have support information here. But what I would really suggest is just reaching out to me, put it in the Facebook group, and just give us time to get back to you. We have about 2,000 people in the group right now. So as we try to make sure everyone is helped in a timely manner, it's only about five of us, compared to everyone. And one thing I don't want to do is make sure like I'm taking one person and teaching them this on a daily basis. We really want to just want you to go through it. So when you have an issue and you have a question, why is my videos going slow? We can go to that one section. I can say, go to this section. And because you watched this video, you know where we should be going to make that happen. So this today is going to give you kind of fundamentals to make sure you kind of know what TouchPix software is, where to go. You've seen it before, and it'll make everything else a little bit easier. So as we get started, we're gonna go ahead on your main page, you're usually gonna log in. So if you have your laptop with you, please log into TouchPix and go to your My Account and then Events. So this is the main page of TouchPix. This is where we do pretty much all of our work at. It shows all of our events that we currently have. On the top here, it says you can create a new event, and Designer is where we create overlays. We add those pictures. We do anything of that nature where we're pretty much going to be, designing our event and creating it inside of the TouchPix area. So everything we do here, I really, really suggest that you do this before you leave your house. You don't need a laptop at your event, but what I do suggest is you're creating your event before you leave home. You're doing your designer work before you leave home, possibly days before, and you're testing it. But even better than that, you're loading the event to your iPhone, iPad, or your GoPro, whatever you're using. Because the last thing you want to do is get to an event and you don't have internet, and now you're trying to do all this stuff in an event with slow or no internet, and you're messaging going, I can't access an event to do everything. So really make sure everything to create your event and to load your event is done before you leave home. It'll make your life a ton easier. So as we get to it, there's a few areas here. So like I said, you have create event on the top and you have designer. So the create event is going to give you 2 options. It's going to give you a custom event option or a preset option. So the preset options are just that. It's going to say, hey, we have 6 different options here. 3 of them are for motorized spinners, 3 of them are for non-motorized spinners, and then we've also have one for a sharing station. If you do iPad boosts, you'll see that around here as well. Let me pause really quickly. TouchPix is a iPad booth software that has transitions to be 360 software. So a lot of the things that we're going to go over today, you'll see me say we're not going to use this or we're going to skip this. And it's going to be because it's not geared towards a 360. It's geared towards using it as a iPad photo booth. So just keep that in mind. But as we go to this page page right here under create event, create preset, this is an easy way. If you wanted to create an event right now and you just wanted to say, I have an event tonight at 9 o'clock, I got to get moving, I have no idea what any of this stuff means, you could literally go to the event. I know there's one here, TV with slideshow. So this is a preset of event. We'll select it. On the bottom, you see next, you hit next. All you're going to do is name the event, and we're going to call it my preset. And when you hit submit at the bottom, it's now created that event for you. It has pre-made settings, and it gives you a QR code. The QR codes are how we use to actually get into any event on our iPhone or iPad. So if I go back to events on the right-hand side under my account, we made a preset. And I'm just going to open it really quickly. We're not going to do much in here. It basically set up an event. So you don't have to know anything to do a preset. It's going to set up a 360 event where you can scan it into your iPad or iPhone and you can start an event. Everything is already pre-filled out. So there is not much that you would need to do within this 360 preset to get started. You may have to edit your text messages or your emails. You may have to add your logos, but everything else that within this preset has already been completed for you. So this is a very easy way just to start a Slo-Mo 360 video session without any knowledge. But for the purpose of today's call, I'm going to go over creating a full event and give you the whys behind every section. So at the top, again, we go to create event. So if you're following along with me, we're going to go create custom event. And give me 1 second, I just want to do it. Just for sharing. Okay. So we're going to go to event. We're going to go to create event on the top and create custom event. So when we create custom event, what we're doing is we're actually going to be putting in our own custom areas for every part of the section. So as we go through each section, you'll see everyone has a question mark. If you hover over that question mark, it'll tell you what that section means. So as we go through it, we'll go ahead and we'll do it. So today's event, we are going to call group session 6/9, I believe today's date. So you always want to name your events. You want to make sure it's an easy name for you to remember and go back to. TouchPix houses all your photos for 1 year. So if you name every event birthday 1, birthday 2, when you go 2-3 months in and someone goes, I need my pictures again, you won't know which one to go to. So try to make sure you add dates to your event name. Try to make sure you really give detail to yourself so you'll know when to actually go back and be able to look at those events and figure out what's going on. Next session is going to be language. You choose the language you want to use, English, Dutch, Spanish, French. Your country, you can definitely choose that as well. So as we start in this first section, it's called general settings. Make sure if you have a question about this section at the end, you write down general settings and then a question you have so that we can go over it for you. The first thing is going to be your countdown. So like any photo booth, when you click the start button on the screen, it's going to count you down 3, 2, 1, start photo or start a video. This is going to be your countdown duration. So I generally leave this at 3. Now, depending on what type of booth you have, it may be a manual. You may want more time while you're doing your automatic, but just kind of keep in mind, this is something you're going to play with. Because if I have a manual booth and I'm going to spin it, maybe a 5-second countdown is too long, because of the fact that by the time it's slowing down, it hasn't started recording yet. So this is something that you can come into your event at any point in time and you can edit up or down. You can go all the way from 0 to 10, but really like 3 is a good number. But as you test your 360, you'll figure out what works best for you. Beep sound just basically makes beeps on your device. As the recording gets started, it's going to beep, it's going to make noises so that you know that it's starting and that it's stopping. Mirror overlay preview. So we are going to turn on beep sounds. Mirror overlay preview. What that's going to do is it's going to show your overlay on the screen. So you have a template that you're using for an event. It's going to show that on the screen and it's going to reverse it. So basically it's going to look backwards, but when it goes onto that customer's video, it's going to be the correct way. But it's basically going to show you what the overlay looks like if you're looking at it from the screen. So we're going to leave that enabled on here. Front or rear camera. So this is a big area of topic between a lot of people. With TouchPix, of course, it gives you the front camera was more of a photo booth option. The rear camera is what we want to use with TouchPix. We want to use the iPhone 11 or we want to use the iPhone 12. Any version of one of those two phones work. They have wide and they have ultra wide cameras. They're going to be much better quality than your front camera on your iPhones. So you really want to use your rear camera. And every day we see people still using the front camera. You're going to get a better quality. You're going to get a better slow motion. And it's just really what needs to happen. Your customer's not going to know, look at the screen. The screen should be faced outwards towards you. So if you need to start your session, things of that nature, but we should always be using our rear camera. So we're definitely going to check rear camera right here on the front and rear camera. Camera exposure menu, it gives you some options to edit your camera settings. So we're going to make sure that that is enabled. And QR protection, you don't need this enabled. Do not enable this. If you enable QR protection, again, this is a photo booth feature, but every time you go to change any settings on your event, it's going to ask you to keep scanning your QR code. And when you're at your event and you don't have a QR code to scan, it'll get a little bit tiresome. So do not select QR app protection. As we scroll down, the next session is printing. Very simple. We're doing videos with 360. We're going to do no printing, and we're going to go right past that part. Very simple section. As we go to functions, so someone asked about the speed of the Slo-Mo. So you have a ton of different things here with speeds and durations and things like that. So you see right here, we have Slo-Mo duration. I will tell you, if you uncheck the camera, that's where you get the slow-mo speed option right here. But if you're using your rear camera and this option is checked, you don't even have a slow-mo speed. So it really shouldn't be edited. And the only place you can edit that is the camera settings. So generally, you're not going to mess with that. So as long as you select use rear camera, you won't have that option. So you see on top right here, it says photos, boomerangs, GIFs, videos, and slow-mo. Well, anything you do when it's based on a 360 photo booth for TouchPix is all going to be encompassed under Slo-Mo. Yeah, you want a boomerang. Yeah, it's a video, but generally for 360s, it's going to be, everything is going to be Slo-Mo. So for this, we're going to delete each section, photos, boomerangs, GIFs, and videos. And the only thing we're going to leave is Slo-Mo. So anytime you go to any screen where there's an option in the TouchPix app or anywhere you're doing something, you always want to make sure you're choosing Slo-Mo. So since we took down all of the other options, you see this section of the functions have gotten a lot smaller. So now you only have four things where you can really edit on there. Your screen flash right here, I'm going to start from the bottom. The screen flash is a photo booth feature. So don't worry about screen flash. We're going to leave that alone. It's not going to help or hurt our event. The slow-mo duration. So this is going to be the time that your actual device records for. So if we record for 5 seconds, we're going to put this to 5 seconds. This can go from 1 to 13. Generally, the longer you're going to have a recording, the longer it's going to take for you your videos to render. Generally, you're going to see about a 20 to 30 second video rendering time, depending on overlays, effects, things like that. If you have a GoPro, it'll probably start closer to 45 seconds going towards that minute mark. So just understand, when we do a video, it's going to be adding music, it's going to be adding boomerangs, it's going to be adding slow motion, and any effects that you have. So everything we add creates more time frame for that to load. So the longer your video, the longer your loading time. So really you want to keep this within between 4 and 6. So 6 is the most I would usually say, but again, play with your settings because you got to find that perfect hotspot for a video for yourself. Someone asked about Boomerang. Boomerang is built into Slo-Mo feature. So as long as you have Slo-Mo checked, right next to your time frame, your duration, you have a checkbox that says enable Boomerang. Make sure this box is enabled. What this does is if you have a 6-second video, that 6-second video throws Slo-Mo in there. So it's probably gonna make it an 8 or 9 or 10-second video. Now in that 9-second video, once you add a boomerang, it doubles the time frame. So now you've made an 18-second video off of a 6-second recording. So keep in mind, whatever your recording is, plus your boomerang, it's gonna make a much bigger file. So if you did wanna go, hey, I'm gonna do 12, even though Charles said do 6, well, that 12 seconds will probably go to about 18 and 19, about 18 seconds. And then at 18 seconds, adding the boomerang will put you at a 36-second video, which will probably take you about 2 minutes to load each time. So just keep in mind your slow-mo duration, you want to try to keep it between 4 and 6. But like I said, you can up or down the number as much as you choose to. Your next section is add audio file. Everyone asks, how can they add music? This is exactly where you add music. Right here under add audio file, all you're gonna do is choose file. You're gonna go to wherever you save that file on your computer, and you can select that file, and then you can go ahead and add that file to your event. Now, what I will tell you is, we're never going, there's no way that us as a team can tell you where to get music from. A lot of people want the newest, greatest, latest music. Just remember, all that stuff has royalties on it. That stuff has artists who wants money for their music. Not saying you can't get it somewhere on the internet, but what I will say is that's not something that we can help you with. If you already have a music file, we can tell you, hey, this is how you add it to the TouchPix, but we cannot help you get music. So that would be something you have to kind of figure out on your own. We do post different sites that are royalty-free music, and that means you can pay $40 a month, or you can have some that are free. It's not going to be the newest, latest, greatest, but it'll be music that you can use without the worry of being sued or harassed by any company because they own that music. What I will say, one last thing, let's say you have a music file and the music and that song you're using is 3 minutes. Do not upload a 3-minute audio file here. Your actual video should be anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds. So make sure that your audio files are no longer than 30 seconds. You'll have to use a website. You all can write this down. Audacity. You can download a program that actually allows you to take your MP3 and chop it down into a smaller version. So if it's 3 minutes, you can choose what part of that song you want, and you can make it, and you can pretty much make it like 30 seconds and what part you want. So you download to your computer, you would actually do it on your MP3. It's a great source. Or there's other programs you can use directly from your cell phone. And the program I use is called Music Cutter, and I just put that in the chat. And that you can download directly from your phone to use. So this is a way that you can actually cut that song down, and then again, just choose your file and choose your music file and add it right to the actual event. When you load your event, it'll be then pushed over to your iPhone or iPad, and you'll have no worries with that. So our next section is going to be timeouts. So this is going to be a section, again, like I said, a lot of this stuff is geared towards photo booths. So I'm gonna make this section real simple. Everything in this section except for sharing should be 0. So survey 0, editing 0, thanks 0, and props 0. So the only thing you should have in here is sharing, and you should have any number but 0. What happens is, when a lot of people you'll see in a group, they'll say, hey, I'm trying to share an event. When I tap the video, it closes back out. That's generally because we have sharing set to 0. If sharing is set to 0, then you're not giving it any time to actually be able to share that video, text it, email it, whatever. So just always make sure in this section, the only thing you should have set to a number should be sharing, and that number could be anything above 0, but I generally recommend 15 seconds. Your next section is sharing. So this is going to be how you share your videos. And I want to kind of give you an easy one here. We're going to pull off Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, and copy. The reason being, you don't want anyone logging into their personal accounts through your device. And then secondly, the other ones make a lot more sense. So SMS is going to be text messaging. This allows them to text the videos to themselves. Email, that's not even a requirement. A lot of people don't really do email, but I leave it on just in case someone wants to ask. Download. So for iPhone customers, you need to have a download link. So when they get their text message, they'll have to click the download arrow, and then it'll download it to their device, where then they can save it. Android customers will be able to just do it right from the video itself. But to ensure your iPhone customers can get their videos when they get their text message, you need to have download selected. Airdrop, if anyone who's not familiar with Apple and the Apple world, this is a big part of how TouchPix works. Everything we do is mostly related to Apple devices. So Airdrop allows you to send a file from one Apple device to another Apple device pretty much instantly. So we put this here for a few reasons. If your internet is slow, if your text is not working, you can, and generally your crowd is going to be about 90–95% Apple customers. So you're able to airdrop and say, hey, here's your video in a quick manner, and it gets to them very quickly. A lot of people use this as their go-to, For me, I'm still a text person, and I would rather my customer wait an hour and a half to get their text with their video. And the reason I say that is when my texts go out, I have very detailed information in my text message. I have my company name, I have my phone number, I have our website and our Instagram, and I want you to have, basically that's my digital business card. So I personally stick to SMS unless you just have people who really just want their videos right then, and you know that your data is super slow. Then Airdrop is a great way to fix that. And then lastly, QR code, it gives them a QR code where they can scan and download that video. So these are the options where I would suggest sharing with. Again, you can change as much as you like, but text, email, download, Airdrop, and QR code. On the second section, edit screen, again, this is a photo booth feature. We're not going to be drawing on screens or doing anything like that. So we're just going to skip this one, leave this unenabled. And then your last one is in-app gallery. If you want to be able to see the videos that your customers are taking, make sure your in-app gallery is checked. If this is not checked, you won't be able to see any videos. So I would just suggest making sure that's checked. Make sure, like I said, you brand your emails and your texts. You want to make sure that this pretty much gives them your business information. So when they want to call back and they want to book you, you want to make sure that they know how to find you. So this is the area where you'll brand yourself for your text and your emails. Props. Again, an easy section. We don't do virtual props with 360s, so no props should be selected. All right, so our last few sections, we have branding. So branding is going to be a part where different parts of your iPad, different parts of your gallery where the customer sees their video, you're going to see these areas where you're going to be able to add your logo. So the first thing you're going to do is make sure your app name, it shows your company's name right here. And then as far as everything else, make sure your logo is selected. So I'm going to pause for 2 seconds because I forgot to show you something. So one big thing I like to tell people is we want to make sure that what we're doing is that we are creating a folder. We want to have a folder that has all of our TouchPix stuff in there. And really it's going to be just so it's easy to kind of grab and to make sure that we have everything that we need in one place. So on my desktop, I have a folder for TouchPix. It's going to have my different files in there. It's going to have anything I need to create my overlays, anything I need to add stuff to it. It's going to have everything in one easy to locate place. So just make sure you have everything easy to locate and it makes your life a little bit easier. So as we go to this area with logos that we were just speaking about, if I wanted to add a logo, I can then know that on my desktop, if I go to my desktop, I have a folder called TouchPix. So on that folder, I can actually grab a logo. So we're going to use an Instagram logo and I can add it in here. You can also add change the background of your app. So if I chose this and I went again to that folder on my desktop, I can go ahead and choose that same logo and I can add it. So now I'm at an event and let's just say you're doing an event for Pepsi and Pepsi wants their name over everything. You can take that Pepsi logo and make the background of your TouchPix app say Pepsi, because maybe they don't want your name on anything. Maybe they're paying you enough where their name needs to be the more important one. So whatever app, whatever logo you want on your software, on your screen where you share videos, on your iPad, you can change this right here under the branding section. So really play with this area, get stuff created, and make your experience different. The way you share your videos with your customer, what they see when if they walk past you and they see TouchPix, they might say, "What's TouchPix?" Or they might say, "Hey, I want a 360, and now I know you're using TouchPix." Make sure everything is really about your business. That's really important to really kind of cater to what you're doing. Last few sections, data collection. We're not going to do anything with 360. Triggers. We're going to go ahead and enable this for a second. So I'm not going to be using a trigger today, but I kind of just want you to know what a trigger is and how you would turn it on. So all you would do is enable trigger. And there's two different types of trigger. There's a face trigger and a movement trigger. So the face trigger is when they step on your 360, the phone will then look at, it will see that it sees faces. So when it sees faces, it'll start your countdown that we set up here on the top. It'll start your countdown and it'll be recording. So you don't have to press anything. You don't have to start anything, but this can be good or bad because you might have two people hop on a booth and the third one they're waiting for, but now because the phone recognizes a face, it wants to start recording already. So this is one thing that you got to kind of keep in mind depending on which triggers you use. The second option is going to be movement trigger. So generally what happens is as your phone is swinging around on the 360 arm, the phone can tell that it's moving. So when the phone can feel that it's moving, it might take 2 seconds, it might take 4 seconds. The movement trigger it starts to record, and it'll go 3, 2, 1. So again, depending on what sensitivity on the right-hand side over here you have it on, you can have it on low, medium, or high. People can just get on the 360 and they might be jumping around, or they might just be standing on there. And because that phone felt motion, it might start recording. So you may have to play with your settings, your low, medium, and high, and basically kind of get your sweet spot on there. But this is a very good help for depending on if you have a manual or you have a motorized 360, because your trigger, your recording time, and your countdown is all going to make a difference in your testing. And you'll figure out like, well, I don't push hard enough on my manual, so now I might need a slower countdown. I might need a lower countdown, or I want to record for 5 seconds, so I know that but I don't want to have to hit a button. So let me do a trigger. So then once I spin it, it can feel that it's moving and it's going to start recording by itself. So this is the stuff that you're going to have to play with and kind of get to know. But so you know where it is under triggers. Lastly, it's going to be your external screen. So this is going to be where you can actually take your iPhone, not GoPro, but your iPhone or iPad, depending on which one you're using on your arm, and you can actually mirror the screen, and you can do one of two things. So if this was enabled, you have two options here. You have slideshow and you have external session. A slideshow is going to give you a picture of the last 3 or 4 videos and a QR code to scan under there. So as you see right next to it, we have QR carousel checked. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow the people to see, like when I get off the spinner, I'll see my video pop up there in about a minute, and I can just scan the QR code, and now I have that video. So it's an easy way for you to share. The bad thing is this shouldn't be an only way of sharing, because let's say I get off the spinner and my favorite song comes on. I go over here, I'm partying, I come back an hour later and I'm like, I need my video. Well, that video is not going to be on the TV anymore because it's only going to show the last 4 or 5. So just kind of keep in mind, this is a great way to share right when they get done with their video. So the next way you can do it is the external session. So that's a slideshow, is external session. And what this does is it basically duplicates your screen to the TV, and it creates a way where you can use like live view. So what it'll do is while it starts to spin, it'll show the person while it's counting down, it'll show them on the 360 as it's going around them. Once the video creates, it will then go back and play that video, and it'll show that the video that it made with the slow motion, the overlay, and everything. This is great for grabbing attention. This is great for doing extra for your customer. It's just a great add-on to really have that excitement within your 360 event. The more you do for your customer, the more you're able to customize, the more you can charge. So kind of keep that in mind. We're all in it for the money. So we want to make sure that all these features you know how to use and you're able to use them. With the external screen, there's 2 different ways of doing it. One way is you can actually buy an Apple TV box, and you can use this with any TV. Generation 3 and above. This one right here, I purchased on Facebook Marketplace. I think it was like $60 or $70, but you can generally get them about $50 on Facebook Marketplace for a used one. Brand new ones in the store cost about $180. So, I mean, feel free, whatever you want to spend money on, but I would definitely say that that's a great investment. I mean, you can use this with any TV. There are also TVs that you have that are already built-in Apple Play. So, example, if I were to take my phone right now and I just hit screen mirroring, generally it will find my TV here. So if I were to click it, it would then take whatever's on my phone, and then you can see that it's going to put my phone on the TV. So that's basically, you can buy a TV that's built in with Apple, or you can actually just buy an Apple TV. I suggest the box because this does not need internet. So if you take a TV you bought to an event, you're going to need Wi-Fi on your phone, to your phone and to the TV for them to connect. If you have an actual Apple TV box, you can just connect this to any TV that's already there, or you can connect it to your own TV you brought, and you're able to share that video without the need of data. So great investment. Definitely reach out with any more questions about Apple TV. So that's it. We've actually created an event. So at this point, all we would do is hit submit. Once you hit submit, the big thing I will tell everyone is you will notice that every time you create an event or you make a change to event, it gives you a QR code. The QR code is how we get into our events. The QR code is how we activate our events. And the QR code is how we close our events. And this is all done through the TouchPix app. Before we go any further, I'm going to go back to our events page. And I'm going to answer a second question that some of us are going to have. How do we do a sharing station? So as we go into this next step, the sharing station is going to be very easy. We've already created an event. Now I want to go over some things with you. Right here, when you see your events, you're going to see your name of your event you created, what dates you created it. The status will always say test if you haven't started your actual event yet. It goes to active once you scan into your event. This is the QR code that you would need anytime that you need to go in or out of your event. Under QR code, the next section is gallery. If you want to see any photos that were taken during that session, so let's say we go right down here, we're going to Tax Boss. We click Tax Boss. Pretty much once we go into the Tax Boss, it'll show all their videos that they took during that session, and then you're able to click them and you're able to actually show them any videos that you've taken, and you're able to play them, and you can see how many videos you have already built into there. So that same thing being said, what I will tell you one last thing. So as you're in your gallery, if you look right here to the top right, you have an area that says public URL. So this gallery link right here is where you can go see all the videos that uploaded from your event. If you click public URL, this is what you usually share with your client. So all those same videos should be here. If you give it time, you keep scrolling, that'll keep loading their videos. All you're going to do is grab this section right at the top, the URL section, and you're going to cut this. And this is the link that you provide to your customer in your email to say, thank you for the event. Here's the URL to all your videos. You don't have to upload them, download them. You don't have to figure out how to get them to them. All you have to do is, again, go to your gallery, click public URL, and this page is the page you share with them. And like as you see right here, my logo is at the top because my logo was added to that event. So that's a very easy way to kind of get your customers all their information. So again, as we go through your areas, you have, this is all your information for each event. And your last one's going to be manage. You have two options here. You can edit the event you just made or any event you have that's active still, or you can duplicate or delete that event. So in order to do a sharing station, what we're going to do is go to the event that we want to make a sharing station for. And we're going to go manage, and we're going to duplicate it. So when we duplicate it, it comes up with the name group session 69. And all we're going to do, honestly, we're going to put sharing station and we're going to hit submit. So now you have two events. They have the exact same settings. But the reason we do two events is we want to have our iPad on one event. And we want to have, so if you're recording with a phone, you want to have your phone on one event and you want to have your sharing station on a separate event. The reason we do this is because you can only close out of events once. So then you'll get stuck not being able to close it out. Also, you may have uploading issues. So if you're using two different devices for your event, please make sure you make two different events like we just did here, and then use their QR code per each event to scan the right device into that event. So we went over how to create an account and how to create a duplicate event based off of your last event right here. Before I go into Designer, which is going to be overlays and how we create some of that cool stuff we kind of think about, I want to show you one last thing. The coolest thing of TouchPix is once you learn this and you get down how to create your event, you don't have to go through create an event and do a brand new event every time. So literally, let's say tomorrow I have a party. All I have to do is go to group session. I can go duplicate. And now I can call this one, tomorrow's going to be Travis's graduation party. But guess what? All those great settings that I've played with and I've tested with, I know exactly how they work. Now I have an event and a QR code called Travis's graduation party. So right here, now I've made the whole event. So everything where everyone will say, this is the hardest thing to learn. This is, how to do it. After you get it, you don't have to do all that work again. You can simply duplicate your event, scan it to your new event, and make sure you add your artwork and test. That's what it's all about. So it does get easier. So make sure, remember, you're going to manage and you're going to duplicate. But for the purpose of this, we don't have an event called Travis tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit delete, and we're going to delete that event. So as we go into Designer, give me 1 second. Okay, so as we go into Designer is how we're going to create any kind of custom overlays. We're going to add pictures. We're going to add anything to make that event, that video look like it has something special going on with it. On the top of your screen, you have an option that says Designer. Get the link again. If you're asking how do you get the link again, so I'll answer these questions really quickly for you. Just the last one, how do you get the link again? So depending on which event you're going to go to, you go to your event, you literally scroll over to the area that correlates. So this is the gallery up here, and I want to do gallery for this event. I would just click that area. It takes you to the gallery. And then once you hit public URL, it takes you to the page in which you're going to share. Someone asked about music. Music, really, you're going to tell your customer, look, you get to choose one song for the event. That song is already put into the software. We're going to create the experience for you, and that song is going to apply to every video. Unfortunately, we can't change it. Are there ways you can change it? Yes, of course. Do you really want to have someone give you 10 songs in a 3-hour period and you have to change them every 2 minutes or every 5 to 10 minutes for customers? You probably don't. So I would just let them know that, that one song will have to be used throughout the duration. Okay, so as we go to Designer, like I said, at the top of the screen, we're going to click Designer. Designer, like I told you, this all should be done on a laptop before you leave home. So please, you can do this on an iPad, but it's a little bit easy, a little bit harder. You can do a lot of this stuff on a computer. It's simplistic. You'll go through it with no problem. So really just make sure that you're trying to get this done before you leave home on a computer, and your life will be that much easier. So this is Designer. So you have a few options in here. Your options over here on the left-hand side: upload, templates, text, background, stickers. These are all areas where you can actually design your template. So remember, as we first started, we said everything we do with 360 Booth, it'll be under the word Slo-Mo. So the first thing when you go on Designer, what I want you to always do is go to template sizes. So templates gives you different templates you can use. Now remember, these are going to be for photo booths. These are like strips right here. There's a drop down right next to templates. It says Slo-Mo Overlays. So the first thing you always want to do is go to template, and you want to go to Slo-Mo Overlays. So these are the 5 different sizes of templates that you can use with TouchPix. The most common one is going to be Slo-Mo Overlay 2. It's basically a square. It'll fit into Instagram, Facebook without any editing. My favorite is this one. It's more of a wide angle. It's like a rectangle, but it's going to be more of a wide angle view. And then going to 4, you're going to get a wider angle view. And then a lot of people ask, how do you get the full bodies? I would say overlay 5 or overlay 1 will give you a longer view of what you're going to be looking at. But generally for today's session, we're going to stick to overlay 2. So the first thing you always want to do when you get into Designer, you want to click Designer. You want to click template, and you want to choose your template size. And because 2 is the favorite template from everyone, we're going to change to Slo-Mo Overlays, and we're going to choose Slo-Mo Overlay 2. So as we get here, there's a lot of stuff we can do. And I know we had questions today on how do we take pictures and how do we remove backgrounds. There's so much in here that you can really do. Let me see. I want to see if I have something I can show over. I had a client who sent me a picture earlier. So let's see if I have that picture. And I might not. Okay. either or. So I'm going to show you guys how to create an overlay. And this could be some basic stuff right here. So your next one, after you choose your template size, on the left side again, we're going to choose upload. And there's a few things we can do in here. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to choose a sticker. So a sticker is going to be anything, any files that you have. Remember, you want to make sure they're PNG transparent backgrounds. That means the picture is there, but there's no background behind them. So one good way to get files, and let's just say you're looking, like, let's say you have a customer who has their theme for their party is diamonds. So let's go ahead and Google. You can easily search diamonds PNG. You can find tons of sites that actually offer different photos where you can use, download, or you could buy. So we'll do diamond PNG. And remember, we want to have it with a transparent background. So that means that background is clear. So as we go here, you'll see PNG tree. I'm not sure if this is free. So you can go somewhere and you're able to see, okay, so we have a picture of diamonds. So how do we incorporate that? We can take that photo. I like this one. And it says free download. So now I went ahead and we can go ahead and we can download this one. And this one's not an easy download. So what we're going to do is go back to here and we're just going to open this. I'm going to right click it. It's still the same thing. So basically, you just go to Google. You can find a lot of PNGs that are going to be transparent. So we're going to go here. We're just going to go to the actual image, and I'm going to click it, and I'm going to do save image as. And I'm going to save that image again in my TouchPix folder. And then what we'll do is that we'll call this image diamonds. So now you see on the bottom is downloaded the picture called diamonds. So if I go back to my TouchPix, let's say the first thing I want to do is I want to add some diamonds. I can now choose custom sticker. So anything you add on as far as images will be called stickers. So we're going to hit browse and you see the diamonds PNG is right there. So once I open it up, it'll add a space on my left side with stickers that I've uploaded and some balloons, things like that. I can then go ahead and click that diamond. And as you see, it put that diamond right here on the side on my screen. Now this image right here is not transparent. So generally you won't be able to, the background will be gone. So you will be able to add these diamonds around, things of that nature. I'm going to delete this because it does not have a transparent background. But one thing, like I said, you do have some balloons in here. So we can kind of resize. You can just kind of grab different options and play with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I like to do. So if I go to uploads, custom sticker, I heard people talking in here today. Hi, all my Chicago people, my Illinois people. I go to TouchPix. Hey, born and raised Chicago. So I love my Chicago skyline. So when I click it, it adds it right here to the top of the screen. You can take that picture. As you see, it doesn't have a background that's blocking anything. And you can make it the size you want it. So generally, let's say we can go ahead and add that. And now my picture has a Chicago skyline on there. If I go to uploads again under custom sticker, maybe my company's logo needs to be added. So I can go ahead and take that Instagram logo and I can say, you know what? I want to make sure I click that. I want to make sure my company logo, it shows on every video that comes out so that people know, you know, what company did this video. So now I've added my Chicago skyline. I've added my logo. The last thing is once you go to uploads, one big area, whether you have someone make this for you or whether you make these yourself, Canva, Photoshop, things like that. I don't want anyone to think that they can go into any of these like Photoshop and they can learn Photoshop overnight. Photoshop takes time to learn. It takes resources to buy, things that you're going to kind of get over time, just like the photo booth business. So things like Canva might be easier. Photoshop elements, but you really want to make sure that you're giving your best foot forward. So sometimes you may have to purchase an overlay, and there's a ton of designers in the group, but like I said, definitely play with it. There's Canva walkthroughs that people have posted in the group, and she gives an easy walkthrough on how to make your own overlays. Matt Calvert has posted free overlays to use for testing. Like these glitter ones right here. So there's a ton of different things in the group you can use. But just make sure that if you need help, there's also a walkthrough on Designer on more detail than I'm showing you right now on how you can make your overlays and add the photos and add things like that. So remember I said that we have five template sizes. And so you see I have this same template in different sizes. So we chose template 2. So we're going to choose the corresponding template and we're going to hit open. So what that does is it adds it right below custom overlay. It adds the overlay 2. If we click it, it then adds it over the actual area. So now we have an overlay that's actually built. So very, very, very simple process. And you can create this. You can put whatever you want on there. You can put your picture on there, the customer's picture, your logo, your phone number, whatever you want to add. This is the area you can do it if you're doing it yourself. The last step you're going to do is on the right side over here under my account. Do not click my account. There's a drop down right here. This drop down shows you every event you've ever made. So when you're adding your overlay, you want to make sure you are adding this to the right event. So remember, we made 2 events. We made group session 6.9 and we made group session 6.9 sharing station. This has to go on the regular one, not the sharing station. If you add this to the wrong event, you will never see your overlay and artwork during your actual transition. So all you're going to do is do add template, and that overlay is then added to your template right there. So I'm going to show you guys one cool thing on here. So as you go back to your events, remember your events is going to be where all your events you created are. And we go to group session 6.9, we go over to overlays. If we were to click this right here, it should show the overlay we just added. So now you know what artwork is going to be added to any event that you do. So that we know that we did have this added. Now let's just say you want to go back and you want to redo it, but you didn't want to do all this work. You can actually right click it and you can save this image. And when you save this image, it'll actually save, we'll save it to the desktop. It'll actually save as a PNG. So then if you don't have to go back and do all that work. So you can actually we can delete this image from here. And let's just say we went back to Designer. And I'm going to show you how easy Designer is. So when you're building stuff, you're going to be in there for a while. But let's say you have someone actually make you an overlay and you just wanted to add it to your event. Designer is very simple. And I want y'all to watch this. When I go in Designer, I choose template. I'm going to switch my drop down to Slo-Mo. So go to templates, choose Slo-Mo overlays. We're then going to choose the size of the overlay that we need, and we're going to choose overlay 2 today. Then I switch from templates to uploads, and I simply go custom overlay. So when you browse, I can either see all my stuff that I've done for other events, or I can go to my desktop. Remember the one we just saved that we did? I saved it as a file, and you're just going to open it. It now shows you your overlay, and you click it. So remember, that's 4 steps. All we did was templates, chose the overlay 2, uploads, we uploaded the overlay and we clicked it. And then you're going to choose the right event and you're going to hit add template. People adding templates will say this is the hardest thing. It is literally 6 steps. You're going to go to your template, choose your size, upload, choose your template, and you're going to add it to the right event and then click add template. And that is how you add a template in Designer. So we're going to go on, give me about 1 minute, and we're going to go on to our last section or 2. And this is going to be for using the TouchPix app and then also setting up a sharing station and then going with the GoPro. So if you give me just 1 moment, I will go through everything with you. I'm good for the moment. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you now as we build up this, as we go back into TouchPix, I want to show you how this looks as we are going through what we're doing for TouchPix. As we go through here, we're going to see how we're going to activate the app. Now, the first thing I did show everyone is a big part of TouchPix is every time you create an event, it creates a QR code. And that QR code is going to be what you scan into your event in order to activate the event, in order to use that event and make sure that we are able to activate it, close it, or things of that nature. So what I want to do is show you how you activate an event. You're going to use the camera inside the app. You're going to use the activate event button. So what I've done right now, you should be able to see my screen, and this is my iPhone screen. So as we go into TouchPix, we'll click TouchPix here. This is your main starting screen. So there's a few sections on here that we can kind of go through, and I'll go over with you really quickly. Your subscription option right here, if you click subscriptions, it'll give you the option to do weekly, monthly, or yearly. If you already have one and you're just trying to restore your purchase because you had to re-download the app, make sure you hit restore purchase, and it'll bring your purchase back into the actual software. So if you go back, your next is your activate event. So first on the top, you have 3 demo events: wedding, birthdays, and business. So if you have not paid, but you want to just play with your 360, see how it works, it does not have a boomerang feature built in, but you can click either one of these events, wedding, I just click wedding, and you're able to come in here. Remember, we do slow motion, so we're going to do slow-mo, and then we can do an event right from here and test it. But for the purpose of here, we are going to go back to our main menu, and we're going to do activate event. So what I did was I pulled up the QR code on my iPad that's next to me. And so this is my iPhone. So as you see the QR code, we're going to go and we are going to scan it. Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 moment. So as we go into our QR code, we're going to make sure that we are scanning the QR code. So if you're on your iPhone or your iPad and you click activate event, it'll bring up a camera to scan the actual QR code on your actual device. So what you're going to do is you're going to then go to your, there we go. Hmm. 1 second. Wait 1 second. DJ, are you available? Can you are you able to show your screen and scan into that code? You're unmuted.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, I'll do that. Actually, I think you have control of the meeting, unless you surrender control. I can't do it.
Okay, what's your name? You're under?
It's under TouchPix as well. You'll see it. Just enable sharing.
Okay.
Let me pull it up real quick and I'll get you.
Start video. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. I'm gonna throw it up real quick.
And I'm gonna send you the codes real quickly. So everybody, we're gonna have this DJ1. He's the great and powerful Oz. He's gonna help me go ahead and show the how you activate an event, and then hopefully how we can do the sharing station on there. And then after we get through that, I'm going to kind of go through a few things with the GoPro and kind of show you the few steps you go through on there. And then after about 15, a little bit after that, we're going to open up the Q&A.
Okay, let me go back to Zoom. Start. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Let's share screen. Okay, this will stop sharing. Do you want to continue? Okay, let's. Can everybody see the screen here? You guys can see my desktop probably. You guys able to see that? Oh, okay. Let me see how I can do this, man. Because you want my this one here. Okay, you guys able to see that? My iPhone? I'm hoping you guys are. Okay, I know you guys are on mute. So Charles already sent me his code. Let me actually back up a second, Charles, because I have an event. I'm just gonna close it real quick. So it's important you guys see this too, because if you guys are ever in a pinch, you guys can just remove the app. You guys delete the app. I want to delete the app, right? If you guys are ever in a pinch and you guys need to troubleshoot, you guys see how easy it is to just download again. I'm going to hit TouchPix and download it again. I'm going to go ahead and download it. That way I know I have a fresh version of the app. It should download fairly quick because my internet at home is pretty decent. So now that I have it installed, the reason I did this for people that don't understand is because I already had an event loaded. And in order for me to override that, I'd had to delete the app without closing it. So now I'm going to hit open. Here we are, activate event. It's going to ask for camera permissions. I'm going to say yes. And the code that Charles sent me is right here. I'm going to scan the code that says recognized event, right? So now it's setting up the event. So he just sent me literally the QR code via Messenger. And because him and I both have a white label yearly subscription, we're able to bounce events off one another, which is a pretty good feature if you guys end up buying the yearly white label. Of course, give camera permissions to every device, the microphone camera and Bluetooth, and also very important to allow access to photos. It allows the photos to be stored within your camera roll. And in this case, it looks like Charles activated the external session for the Apple mirroring. So I'm going to hit OK. And I'm just going to give it a second because it does take a little bit to install. And if you notice, I'm going to start tapping the top left-hand side. It's not going to do anything, which is telling me that it hasn't finished installing yet. So let me give it a couple more seconds while it finishes installing that resource. Let's see, it should probably be done by now. Okay, now it's done. Okay, Charles, where do you want me to go from here, man?
So really, I just wanted to kind of, as we go through here, if you hit the menu button for me, so this is your main screen. So if you set up everything right, on the bottom, you should have Slo-Mo. On the top right, you should have gallery. So where you can actually view your pictures, your videos, things of that nature. And on the left, you're going to have your menu to go to different options. So as I said, to activate an event, you need to use your QR code. To close the event, you need to use the QR code, or to even refresh it if you make any changes with that event. Can we go to settings?
Sure. Go to settings.
Yeah, so this is going to be your settings. So everything that you've created online in your touchpix.com account is going to be kind of pushed over to this area. So as we go down a little bit further, you can choose which camera you're using. So remember, we added the option for a back camera. This is also where you're going to choose the option for a GoPro. It says 6, 7, and 8 are the 3 recommended cameras, but we'll go back for right now to the back camera because we're using a phone at the moment. Your camera settings is something you can choose. A big part that we're going to choose in camera settings, whenever you click camera settings, give it about 5 seconds to load. your screen should look like this if you choose the chosen back camera. The one big thing that you are going to change on here is going to be your lens. And with the iPhone, the reason we use it because it has that wide and ultra wide lens. Generally, we want to stick to that ultra wide, and we want to use that as far as our videos that we're doing. We're going to pivot down to it and hit OK. It'll give us a warning, we understand. And then the last thing is going to be your slow-mo speed. So generally, we're going to be at 1920 by 1080, 120 FPS. And we're going to make sure that those will be our settings that we're on. Generally, it's going to be on it, but if you ever see any kind of speed changes or anything wrong with your videos, this is one area where you can kind of check, test those settings. Not much else on here we have to really mess with, so we can go back out of this area. And like we said, as you go along, remember some of the things we looked at, your countdown. So let's say you're at an event and your countdown is too long. You accidentally set it to 10 seconds. Well, you can come in here and change countdown to 2 to 1, and you can make a quick change. Changes you make online on your touchpix.com account will definitely update to your app, but changes you make on the app does not update vice versa back to your online. These are changes you can make in an event and in a quick moment. If your video length is too long, like right now it's set to 6, we can now go back and change it to 3 so that we have a slower video. Video quality is something you did not see online. So we started on medium quality. You have high quality and ultra high quality. This will, it will make it a little bit clearer. It'll make it a bigger file. So I think is the more quality you run in your video, the bigger your file is, the longer it will take to load. But this is your choice to test through. I generally use ultra high quality, but depending on where I am, how long my videos are taking, medium quality might work for me. So this is something you want to see based on what you want to give your clients in that particular session, what they're looking for. So just remember, these are things that you can change directly from the app, and it makes it kind of a easy go. So if we go save and close, you're pretty much ready to go from this point. I mean, is there anything I'm missing? I mean, we pretty much can just go ahead and do a video, correct?
Yeah, just one more thing, Charles, is if you come back in here, if you go back to settings before you save and close and go down to video effects creator, it's very important. Initially, it does it now automatically. I'm sorry. So before it didn't do it automatically. So that might be one of the updates. Before this was set to video by default, but also it's good for you guys to just make sure where the functions are. Just make sure on video effects creator, when doing slow-mo, the slow-mo icon is selected. That's pretty much it.
And then that's also the area where you're going to go to where you can add those cool effects like the 4 different screens. You can add music. So we did show you where you can add music on the touchpix.com, but you can also choose audio on here. And then once you click audio, the little oval, you can choose the audio in the gray box, and then you can choose what song you want if you have it on your phone. So that's a very easy way to add or change audio before your event if you forgot to add it. So and as we go back, like I said, you have a ton of features on this page. One big one that you'll see is people who are doing videos, they have a post roll. So right to the right of where we added audio in a gray box, post roll is an option where you can add a video that has your logo. It's like a small video that kind of promotes your brand after your 360 session is over with. So this is where you're going to add those extra effects that kind of make it, that gives you a pizzazz, things of that nature. But just remember, the more you add, the longer your video will take to load. Always expect that loading time. Know what your loading time is and know what to expect before you start your session. So, your customer going to be like, how long does it take? Get off the spinner. You'd be like, okay, it takes like, a minute. And then 10 seconds later, they're standing over your shoulder looking for a video. Setting expectations is going to be a big part of what we do. So as we go back, we'll go back to the main screen and we'll basically just go ahead and do slow motion, slow-mo, and we're going to go ahead and create a session. As you create slow-mo, you hit that slow-mo option. It's going to then do the countdown that we set to 1. As you see, the overlay is actually showing. And then as we're looking through the camera, you can kind of see what is going as it's spinning around. One thing I will say is if you use a GoPro, you're not going to get a live view. So when you're using an iPhone or an iPad, it's going to pretty much show you a view of what's going on. You won't get that with a GoPro. As it's spinning, it's also giving you what it's doing. It's adding slow-mo, it's adding music. it's, you know, reading your video. It's going to give you a breakdown of what it's doing as it's doing it. But generally, you're going to have about a 20 to 30 second load time minimum on a phone, or about a 30 to 45 second load time if you're using the GoPro. And then this process, once this process is done, then this is how you're going to share it with your customer. And then you can go to the next video and start your next video. So as you see right here, it has the skyline, it has the gold overlay that we added, it has our logo on there. And then to the right, you're able to actually text, QR code, airdrop, or email right from the screen itself. So all the sharing is actually built in, and it's made to be super easy for you. So with that being said, one big thing we do is we want to figure out, how do we share to our customers? Everyone's question is, how do we add a sharing station? You got that part, DJ?
Yeah, let me see if I can, let me see if you can answer some questions. Let me hook up my webcam. I'm not in my little man cave, so I don't have that.
I have a question.
Cool, go for it.
So when you add the sharing state, so when you duplicate an event to use it as a sharing station, is that event the same number? Like, how do you be able to refresh to go back to that number, or is that not the same number? Does that make sense?
So the event will be a different number. So if you, 1 second, I'm gonna reclaim host for a second. Okay, so remember when we're on our event, can you see my screen or no?
I see the Instagram logo. Is that it? Your screen?
No, give me 1 second.
I have a question. Can you do from iPad to iPad? Can you have the iPad on your 360 and have your iPad, another iPad for your sharing?
You can. I would usually recommend not having an iPad on your spinner arm. It's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit more bulkier. And then your settings for your slow motion, it doesn't always have the best settings to do slow motion on. And you also want to make sure, if you do that, it's going to be a brand new iPad Pro 11 or 12.9 for the 2020 or 2021 version. So I would suggest more likely to have an iPhone on your arm. It makes it a little bit easier.
Okay, can it be the iPhone mini 12 or 11?
No. So the new Pros, they have like the same cameras that the 11 and 12s have, with the ultra wide and the wide cameras. So if you're using it for the one that's actually recording video, you really want to stick to the Pros.
I have a question. What was the FPS on the camera settings? You said
120.
You said he been all right.
120 FPS.
120 FPS.
I have a question.
How do you have a question?
I have a question.
Can we get to my question first that I asked about the sharing station, please?
What was the sharing station question?
You remember I had asked that when you duplicate the event and you use it as a share, so when you duplicate the event and you use it as a sharing station, do you have to, when you activate, do you have to activate? I mean, obviously I'm only using the one phone, so are you able to change that function on your phone to go back to that same event?
Well, no.
But you have to activate it, right?
Can you see my screen? Yeah, you have to activate it. So you see my screen? Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna have two. So you see I have two different groups. I have group session 6.9, then I have group session 6.9 sharing station. They each have their own QR code. So the first one will be activated on your phone. The sharing station one will be activated on the iPad you're using for the sharing station.
So how do I activate that on my iPad if I'm already have my phone?
You'd say the same way. So as long as the iPad is using the same Apple ID, you're able to download TouchPix on there, and then you're going to scan the correlating QR code to activate on the iPad.
Oh, do I go to the event in the settings part where that part of the gallery is? You understand what I'm saying? So where it goes to activate the event, am I able to change that little section up in a box where it has the QR code to match it? Or do I have to delete the app and go back in to activate it as well?
So hold on. So I think so we're going a little bit. So all you're doing is going to where it says activate event.
Yes.
On the iPhone, you activate the event for the regular session.
Okay.
So on the iPad, you activate event for the sharing station QR code. And then it'll be, and they'll both be activated on the right events. But we're about to show you how to connect them though.
Okay.
How do you create a post-roll video?
That's something that you would probably have to, reach out to one of the designers in the room where they create them, or you would use like After Effects, things that create videos and animations.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question. I accidentally scanned the QR code for the sharing station. I scanned the regular session on the sharing station. How can I delete that and then now scan the sharing station code?
So just delete your just delete the app and reinstall it. He just showed you.
Wait, so I delete the app and reinstall it, and then I'll rescan the code, the correct code.
Correct.
Okay. And I have a GoPro, so when you're ready, I want to go from that part. Go ahead.
Not a problem.
I have a quick question. When it comes to the margarine, what should the margins be set at?
That's something right now you shouldn't have to mess with.
Okay.
I have a
Okay,
question
thank
because
you.
I don't yet have a sharing station. I can see the things in my gallery, but when someone goes to text it to themselves, that link says no images available.
So basically, that would probably just mean that it's taking a little bit longer to upload to the server, and that images has not fully downloaded yet. So once it then does download, that video will be available to see.
Okay.
Another quick question. You said that you want to check the speed before each event. What was the name of that app that you said you can have on your phone to test that?
Speed test.
Speed test. Okay.
I have a question. I do my sharing on my TV and I do my iPad on my arm, but for some reason my QP code don't show up on my television for them to scan it.
Your QR code.
Yeah, my QR code.
So it should show if you have QR carousel. So you may just want to go back to that section of the event, take it off and save it, and then add it back on, and then make sure you refresh your event.
Okay, then it'll show up on the TV.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, a few more questions.
I have a question. When you do the audio, do you have to change it each time?
As far as what you mean, each session you do?
Yeah, like each video I do, like what if somebody want a different music? Do I have to upload how much audio can I upload at one time?
You can only upload one. So I would recommend telling your client if they ask for multiple songs that you can only add one song, and that song is pre-selected within the software. Because I mean, unless that's something you want to do is go through and change music every time, I would probably just tell them no.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question about the sharing station. Now, when you create the second barcode, you know how you can just use one barcode, you can just activate one as sender, one as receiver. But now you're showing me that little technique right here. You create a separate code for sharing stations. Do you still have to link them where you go to?
Yep.
Or you still have to do that?
Yeah, so that's how they actually link. What we're doing is creating two different sessions so that we're not having any issues between having them both scan on the same session. So we still have to link them, and we're still gonna go through that process with you. Okay,
yeah, okay. I think that's the part I'm reading on. Okay, perfect.
I have a question. What is the best laptop for the designer?
Any laptop. I mean, most laptops will work. I wouldn't say maybe not a Chromebook, but any laptop really would do.
Just to piggyback on the young lady that had a question about editing music. Now, I did an event and I tried to do a lot of music selections, and what happened it kind of froze on me. So even if I changed the music selection, scan my QR code, it still played the same song after. So my question is there not an unlimited time to edit the music choice if that was a option for the customer?
Yeah, well, what I will first tell you is that we went through it in the visual effects creator. If you go through menu settings, visual effects creator, you can change the music right there. So you don't have to go online and do it. So I think maybe when you were doing that, it wasn't updating, which is why you're having that issue. But if you went right into the visual effects creator, you can change that within 10 seconds.
Music effects creator. And I would have to
visual effects creator.
To do that like on a Google Drive to have the music downloaded on my phone.
You have to have it downloaded to your phone. But yet again, I would tell you the more you give that as an option to switch between songs, it's gonna make your process go even longer between customers.
Right. And then one more question. I'm sorry, I'm taking too much time. On the designer, when I tried to text a person's name or happy birthday, is there a way for me to change the colored text? Because it only shows black.
Let's see.
Also, when I tried to use the text before too, it did not work.
That's what I said. It didn't work for me either. It only showed black.
So we do text right here, and then right here it says color. So you can choose the color of it.
So go back to see where the color was, because I don't have that option on my screen.
So can you see right here, like when I hit like text on the bottom right here, it has the area for color right here.
Gotcha, just hit that. Thank you.
No problem.
Can you write something, please? It didn't allow me to change the text.
Because you
It just
can't
says
do it on,
large text.
yeah, do the slow-mo thing on hers, because some of the slow-mo you can't write the one show up. So you have to pick a different template for the slow-mos.
It did not allow me to change the word large text.
So once you click in it, you want to double click it, and then you can actually go through it.
The love of her life.
Right now.
And do you add template once you finish writing whatever you're gonna write?
Well, once you finish doing all your designing, then you're gonna choose the right event and then add template.
Because I did that and it's not coming up with the event. It just shows the video.
Then you may not have. You sure you're on the right? Did you go to your My account? Go to events, and then make sure on your actual. It shows the overlay on that actual event.
Oh.
And then make sure you update, because if you're already into your event, make sure you update to make sure it's there.
Click, yeah. Charles, if I may, on this part, this is very important. You see on the left-hand side where it says Slo-Mo Overlay, right towards the middle? Slo-Mo Overlay.
Oh, right here?
No. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that's important. Make sure that you have selected. I've helped a lot of people who basically say that their template's not coming out. And when I log into their system to troubleshoot, I find this saying video overlay, right? So it's not the same thing because you're activating a slow-mo feature. So you have to tie it to a slow-mo overlay.
Also, how do I get the glitter back when I should have that border?
You search Matt Calvert in a Facebook group. He added the 5 free templates in there.
Can you spell his name? M-A-T-T?
MATTCALVERT. I just put it in chat for you as well.
Thank you.
How do we make sure that slow-mo overlay, that PNG is on? And what part do we make sure that we click that for it to come on like that?
So remember, when you're in Designer, like I said, when you go in Designer, the first thing you want to do is, as it's loading, on your left-hand side, you want to hit Templates, and then there's a drop down right here, and you always want to select Slo-Mo Overlays first.
But what's also good and helpful is when you're on the app, but when you go to activate your event, and when you go under the effects, you can also preview it, and you can see it at the bottom of it. If you click preview after you selected your effects or whatever it is that you want to do, if you click preview, you give it a couple minutes to like upload, and it'll show you what it will look like.
If you go back to your design, Charles, on Designer, right, go back to that design you had.
Oh, you bring it back up?
No, just go back to your events and hit overlay.
Okay. Everyone, y'all can mute for me for a second, please, everyone.
This is a good trick for everybody who kind of wants to use, maybe you want to design an overlay and you just want to switch the text.
DJ, unmute yourself again.
Yeah, this is a good trick for those that want to create a design on an overlay and then later just want to probably change the text. Like this design is it's simple, it looks nice, but there's no customization to it yet. You can add happy birthday later. If you don't want to go through the hassle of piecing it together every single time with the glitter, the Chicago skyline, and the Instagram logo, what you can do while it's in here, you can right click on the picture. If you right click on that picture, right click on there, Charles.
I did.
Yeah, and then you can see there you go, save image as. It'll say actually you were just supposed to save it under
oh, I did it earlier for him.
Oh, okay.
So then
save image. so that you can always just load it up without the elements. You know, you just go now uploads, custom overlay, and he has already saved it, and you're good to go without having to piece everything together. And now you could add text individually if you want that.
How do we get the videos later? Well, this training tutorial later, will it be like a email, or how do we access it later?
If you want, I can show the sharing station now, Charles.
Okay. It'll be available tomorrow. We'll post it in the group tomorrow, and we'll get that link up for everyone for the actual webinar. So if everyone go back on mute, we're going to go through sharing station.
If you could just give me control again, I think I still have the screen mirroring on.
You're so needy.
This was a lot of help. I thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for being on.
I think somebody asked this question already, but I didn't fully understand. I know with the two different QR codes with the iPhone and the iPad, right? Is the gallery the same gallery is going to be available on both QR codes for the sharing station? Like it's going to be the same videos on both for the iPhone and the iPad?
I mean, it is, but you're only going to be using one to share. So you're pretty much, you want to make sure that the sharing station is the one that's going to be sharing. So we're not really worried about the gallery as far as this uploading. We just want to make sure they're on the actual phone to share.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm going to show you guys how to set up the gallery. I'm going to do it a little different. I don't have access to a lot of my stuff right now, but this is my iPad. I want you guys to see that. This is my iPad. I scanned into the same QR code, basically a copy of the QR code that Charles sent me. You know, I'm going to just say that it was a duplicate, named it sharing station. And the important thing to know is that when you are going to be sharing, setting up a sharing station, it's very good practice to always start off with your iPad first. First of all, I want to show you guys a couple tricks. When you get your iPad and you scan into it, you're going to want to go into your settings tab of your iPad. Under settings, you're going to want to go first. I always go into Airdrop. You see the Airdrop feature here. I just want to make sure it's set to everyone, where it says everyone. I have it selected. Perfect. Once you know that it's set to everyone, I go down to, I hit the back button, I go back to general, and I go do this. I go where it says display and brightness. So under display and brightness, what I want to do is make sure that my iPad doesn't fall into screensaver mode while I have it as a sharing station, because if it falls asleep, you may lose the connection. So under auto lock, I'm going to set the setting to never. So I don't want my iPad to fall asleep, so I leave it to never. Then I go back, right? Now I go back into my TouchPix app because I'm ready to roll with TouchPix. And from TouchPix, you always start with your iPad first. You see that big gallery button on the top right-hand side, you hit gallery. Once you hit gallery, you're going to see a little letter pop up on the top left-hand side. In this case, it's an S with this circle around it. I'm going to tap on the S. And because I want this to be my sharing station, it gives me a couple of options, and I'm going to hit activate receiver. It's the first option. I'm going to select activate receiver. It turns, it's white, it's an R, and that's where I'm at. So now, once you have it set to activate receiver, I'm going to go over to my iPhone. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Now this is my iPhone here. I'm going to do the same thing on my iPhone. This is the iPhone or the capture device always goes second. I'm going to tap on gallery. Now I see the S on the top left-hand side. I'm going to select the S, and now I want to hit activate sender. And what happens is I see the name of my iPad. In this case, my iPad's named what my business's name, and I named it 12 because it's a 12.9 iPad. It just tells me how to identify it. I'm going to select it, and it says success. It's connected successful. I'm going to hit OK. I'm able to get out of here. And like, if you guys pay attention right now, my gallery only has one video. So now I'm going to show you guys how quick it is to actually share files in between sessions. I'm going to run a quick video. Hit Slo-Mo. again. It'll be a different video. I'm just gonna go up this time. That way you guys know it's a different video. I'm just moving it around. Sorry, I'm gonna make my kitchen table. It's gonna add the effects. I'm gonna wait for it to go through its motion, and then I'm gonna show you guys how it pops up on my sharing station. Okay, I'm gonna hit next. I'm gonna hit next. This is my phone. I'm gonna select gallery. Now there's 2 videos on my phone. So now I'm gonna take you guys to see my iPad real quick. I'm gonna go and hit the settings. So maybe it's camera, right? And right now there's 1 video. I haven't done it this way before because I'm using the same device, but hopefully I can get this video to bounce in fairly quick. If it doesn't mess up the connection, it typically takes usually about 20 seconds or less, but let's just roll with it because I'm using actually the app on my phone using the camera function. I usually use an external camera to show you guys this part, but let's roll with it, see if it syncs up. If not, I'll go back into gallery or maybe hit sync and it should work from there. Yeah, maybe I'm tying up the resources right now. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna let it do its thing. So I'm gonna go back. I see 2 videos there. I'm gonna let it do its. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back into my iPad because as soon as I switched back, it did it. So there it is. So I got 2 videos now, right? Now I'm gonna select whatever video. This is my sharing station again. So I'm gonna select whatever video. Now your client has the option to either send themselves an email, text, the QR code. They can scan the QR code live and direct, right, to scan it, or they can do airdrop if they want to do airdrop, right? So it comes in pretty quick. Obviously, I'm just using the internal camera app, so that's why there was a delay. And the new function now was the sync button. I'm sorry, I closed out. But it's very easy for you guys to do, as you can see. And I'll turn it back over to Charles in case you guys have questions.
So when you did that, I mean, after you already had activated event, and when you go into the actual app, are you able to refresh that event to make sure that it matches that QR code? I'm sorry, not the QR code. Are you able to refresh the event to make sure it matches that event for the sharing station?
No, it doesn't matter if the events are matching. What matters is that you're telling your iPad at the beginning to sync up with your sending device. You're creating that connection.
Okay. It only matters if you need to close an event. That's when the numbers need to match.
Yeah. So upon closing an event, the most important device that needs to be closed first, and what I would always recommend, is the iPhone, right? Because that's the phone that has all the original photos stored in there as backup. So that's your most important device to close. It doesn't really matter if you close your iPad correctly or not. It's the sending device that really matters.
Okay.
And then also, if you're having trouble with your connection to send your video to the clients, to the people that's using it, it's best to close it when you get home, right? You're not supposed to close it till you get home to a better internet service, Wi-Fi or something.
Yeah, well, I just recommend to close it wherever you have the best Wi-Fi. I'll put it to you that way. It doesn't necessarily have to be, your home, but if you have good Wi-Fi wherever you're at, close it there. I think it's just a matter of, you having a reliable connection.
No, I'm saying like you can't finish or close the event unless everything already transmitted. Is that the way it works? Like, yeah, let's say if you somewhere doing an event, you have internet problem, now people not getting the text message, you cannot close that event till everything transmit, right?
Well, you can, so it will go through the closing process even if it hasn't transmitted, but part of the closing process is it's gonna take everything that hasn't sent and push it through. But again, if you're still in the area with bad internet, then that's not gonna happen as well. So you first wanna get to an area with the best possible internet before you close your event. And you can make sure that everything has sent before you finish closing it.
Can you use
And also,
hotspot for your service? Can you actually use the hotspot to transport the pictures?
I mean, the hotspot is just giving the internet access, giving the internet. But again, just like your cell phone, your internet can be good or bad in any location.
Okay.
Quick question. When you close it, do you lose everything from that event? Would it still be in our account if we want to go back? It would still be there, right?
The gallery will be there and you'll be able to see the photos, but you can no longer make any edits to the event.
Okay.
now I see, I noticed some, I think I saw in the group, somebody share some information how to use the URL to scan it for everybody. Even, is that the same public link? You can create a URL with it.
Correct. Take that public link, and I'll show you that in a second as well.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna cut off questions for a second and give me a few moments. I'm gonna quickly go through the setup for a GoPro and kind of show you guys how that looks. Give me 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, so the GoPro is very, very similar to the GoPro is very similar to the actual setup. So everything is going to kind of be the same. As you see, we're already logged into the same event that we've already created within TouchPix. Only things that we're going to do different. So we're going to go back to my main screen. If I pull it down, I'm looking for the Quick app. So that this is the GoPro app. So after this is downloaded, you will already have your GoPro connected to the Quick app. This is how the screen will look as you're give me 1 second. This is how the screen will look as you're looking at the GoPro app. So if you're a GoPro user, these are the extra 2 steps that you'll have to do to make sure your GoPro is working instead of a back camera on your phone. In the top right corner, you see there's a little small GoPro icon. You simply click that icon. It'll come up and it'll give you an option to control your GoPro in the middle of the screen. If you hit control your GoPro, what it's going to do is and actually, hold on 1 second. I'm going to start over.
All right. I'm sorry, what's the GoPro app again? Because the one I have doesn't look like this.
It may look, if you have an older iPad, it may have the options at the bottom. So this is the GoPro app. It was updated to the Quick app. So this should be the only GoPro app that you're using.
So should I be looking for the Quick app or the GoPro app?
If you type in GoPro, this is the app that comes up.
Not for me. It looks a little different. Let me see this. Yeah, let me see the icon.
So if I go GoPro in the App Store, see it says Quick Video Editor.
I didn't get that. All right, let me do that over. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So when that app is open, like I say on the top right screen, did it freeze or can you see it?
Hello.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, we're good, man. You can see it.
Can you see it moving?
Move your mouse real quick. Yeah, we can see your mouse moving.
Well, no, you can't see the phone froze again. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I want to power cycle my device trying to get.
Yeah, if you don't see that GoPro app, Quick app, you may have an older version of the app, or you may have an older version of the iPad iOS. Make sure you're on iOS 14.6. That's the latest iOS. So it's very important that you're on the latest iOS software update and you're on the latest TouchPix update. That way everything runs smooth.
Yeah, always keeping your items always updated is going to be a very big thing. We come across little problems and it's just stuff basically due to software updates on your device. Also making sure that you have space on your Apple devices. So especially if you're using a personal phone for your 360, make sure you have space, because if you're used all your space and you're deleting pictures and videos just to get another video on there, it's not going to be able to save all your data from your event, and you're going to lose customers' videos. So kind of be careful of that as well. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm about to reconnect. So while I'm reconnecting, I'm gonna go back to the website for you really quickly. As he was just, someone just asked, how do we create a QR code based off of the gallery? So as I showed you earlier, once you go to events, you would choose the gallery for the event that you're using. So we're going to use this one right here that I did on 6/5, and we're going to click gallery. And as I said, once that gallery comes up on the right side of the screen, you'll see an area that says public URL. You can go ahead and click public URL, and this is the page that we share with our clients. It gives them all their videos. It gives them access to everything. You can scroll down. It keeps loading. But at the top of the screen in the URL, you're going to take that link. Now that link can be shared directly to your client, or as an alternative for a sharing station. You can cut this link. And what we like to do is definitely just go on Google. And what you can do is Google free QR code generator. And you will find a site that makes QR codes. And then literally all you would have to do is go to that website. And then what it's going to ask, like right here, I said, I want to go to a website with my QR code. Once I paste this link into here, it'll create a QR code on the right-hand side. So now if I were to download this code and I were to use this code, I can now actually take it to FedEx Kinko's. I can print it off at home. I can add it as a background screen saver to an iPad. But once I shared this code in my event, anyone, as they took their videos, they'll be able to scan this QR code, and then they will have instant access to any of the videos in the event. So it's a way to share. It's a backup. So if you have a ton of people in line, people getting off, you don't have to worry about texting each and every person the QR code. You're able to just create this QR code, print it out, leave it on your table, and the clients can just go over to the table and scan this code. And as those videos load, they'll have access to every video without you doing anything. So that's a great way to be able to share your gallery just by creating a QR code for it. Okay, and the last thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go over this GoPro really quickly. We're gonna just show you the little differences based on the GoPro, based on going from an iPhone to a GoPro. And give me a second. Okay, so as I'm in my phone right now, like I said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the Quick app, which is gonna be the GoPro app. And as we go to the Quick app, what I would say is in the top right corner, you have a little small GoPro icon. As you select that icon, it will then take you to the next screen. In the middle of your screen, you see the option that says control your GoPro. You would simply click that. What it's going to do is the GoPro connects to your phone or your iPad through Wi-Fi. So it's going to create the Wi-Fi network, and it's trying to have that GoPro, it's trying to have your device connect to the GoPro through the Wi-Fi network. So what we're going to do is hit join. Once you hit join, it's then going to put, give me 1 second. I'm then going to, you'll be able to see what the actual camera is seeing. Oh, that's not good. Okay, let's try this again. Can you see me on camera?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to, okay, so I'm going to have to show you on the camera because of the fact that the Wi-Fi and how it works. Okay, so can you see my phone screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to click that little icon and you're going to click control your GoPro. We're going to start over. And then once you click control your GoPro, it is then going to load and you'll be able to see what the camera sees from the GoPro. So once your camera sees what you can see on your phone, what your camera sees, you are now connected to your GoPro. So from this area, you're going to just basically close this, not close it out. You're going to just leave it running, but go to your other apps. So that app has to stay running in the background. As we click TouchPix, we're back at our main screen. We simply go to menu and settings, And then remember what we had the option for back camera and front camera? We're just simply going to choose GoPro. So now when we choose GoPro, it's now using that GoPro camera that's running in the background from the app. That is generally the biggest differences in using it from your phone or GoPro. So now when I go ahead and I hit run session, as you see, you don't see a live view. You still see the overlay, but you don't see a live view of what's actually going on. What's happening right now is it's counting down. The video has stopped recording on the GoPro. What it's doing is the GoPro is actually sending the video over to the phone. Once the video is received, then it'll start the circle process where it tells you what it's editing, the music, the overlay, the slow motion. And then once that's done, it'll then, like I said, within that 45-second area, it's going to then show you the video that was created with the overlay and the GoPro. So you're generally only having to connect to the GoPro through the app and then make sure that you have GoPro selected and turned on in the TouchPix app. So as you see, it's going through the process.
Would you say there's a quality difference by using the GoPro versus the iPhones?
If I had to be honest, I'm gonna tell you, like when I started with my iPhone, I don't really 100% always see the quality difference. I've told that it's sharper. GoPros are action cameras, but the iPhone 11 and 12 phones have really, really great cameras. They've come a long way. So I mean, I'm sure there's some differences in there. I like it because I don't have to have a phone up there. I don't have people asking me questions about, is that a cell phone? And I just think from my process is a little bit easier. But I think you can get great videos, whether you use a phone or a GoPro, and you really just have to test and work and see what works with your process. So as you see right here, the video has created and it's right there on the phone. So very same process. It takes a little bit longer to load, but you know, the process is a little bit different if you want to use that GoPro. For me, the reason I use the GoPro, it allowed me to take my iPad that I was running the software on, and I'm able to share directly from my hand when I talk to my customers. So after their video generates, I can just let them text and do everything from the iPad or from the sharing station. So it was one less device to really kind of have on my arm, and it just kind of made it a little bit easier for my process. But there's no right or wrong way to do it, and there's tons of different things that we can do within the processes.
Okay, the iPhone, you said the iPhone 11 and 12 is the best ones to get. It was
Yes.
the iPhone Pro.
In any of the iPhones, iPhone 11, 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max, or the 12s or the mini. They all have the ultra wide and wide cameras.
Okay, so you did say the mini because I asked you before about it. So the mini is okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So what I will tell everyone right now is it is.
Please let me ask the question.
I know, give me 1 second.
Okay, I'm
So
sorry.
it's 10:18. So I want to make sure you know that we went over everything we've had for the webinar. We will have it available tomorrow. So I know that in some areas it is late, so I will give you the chance, if there's no questions you have, you can definitely step off the line. This will just be Q&A for a little while. So feel free to jump off. I appreciate anyone who was on the call today and everyone's feedback, and you know, let us know if you have any questions. DJ1, you can message CeeLo Rogers. I posted in the group for the webinar today, but any questions, just reach out to us. And then, like I said, feel free to jump off if you need to, and anyone else stay on for any questions you may have.
This will be on the website tomorrow, right? And it's as a link, right?
It will be in a Facebook group.
And our group, yeah. Okay, thank you.
What time, I don't know, but let's just say after the noon.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Hey, Charles, thank you so much for sharing and helping us. My question was, I know you said that things need to be uploaded into the gallery. My issue is everything's in the gallery. Customers are able to airdrop. Customers are able to use the QR code. But if the link is text to them, it says no image, text or email to them, it says no image found. So is that just a system error, or?
That's more than likely just something where it's not linking to. Like when I've had that issue, like later on in the night, it kind of pops in as soon as everything's finished loading. So that can be something we can look into, but we can definitely like kind of talk offline about that situation and see what's going on for you.
Okay, can you put your name in the chat? I'll follow up with you tomorrow.
Not a problem.
I have a question. I purchased the animated overlay for $75. And they told me that it take a long time for it to download to the computer.
However, after I created my event, I didn't know how to go in and pick one of those animated like those the
The sparkle
design.
effects.
Yeah, I didn't know how to go and add that to my event.
Okay, so remember how we showed you how to add audio through the phone?
Yeah.
So you would go right in there, and then instead of choosing audio, you would choose overlay black, and you would be able to just upload that file. So what you're gonna have to do is either email yourself the one file you want to use, make sure it's the correct template size, and then once you save that to your files folder on your iPhone, you'll be able to grab it just like you would grab music from that area in the audio.
Okay, repeat that one more time. I'm kind of confused on how you said that. So I download that app that I just purchased for $75.
You download the file. So that what you purchase has many files. So you're gonna figure out which file you want to use. And you're
Okay.
gonna take that to your phone.
To my phone, not to my laptop.
You're to your phone, because that has to be added directly through your device, your phone or your iPad, whatever you're using.
Okay, so that's not what I add on for this. When you go to the design and you picking how you want your layout to be,
Right.
I can't do it from there.
No, it has to be done directly through your phone.
Oh, okay. So you said it's a place where you add music. It's another area that I click on.
So
That says audio black.
Remember how we showed you on the app where you can go through menu settings, go to visual effects creator, and you can add music in videos. You would add it in there.
Oh, okay. And what size does it matter what size iPad you use for the sharing station?
It does not matter at all. It just has to be able to update to iOS 14.
Can you explain?
14. Thank you.
Give me
you
one
explain
second. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I just want to show her really quickly what we were talking about.
Okay, thank you.
So in here, you would just go to menu, settings, and then as you go down to visual effects creator, you would basically want to do is you want to add, if you scroll on here, you'll see overlay black. And if you hit overlay black, you can select your file. And if that file is saved, you would then be able to grab it. And then that would be your sparklers or your confetti or whatnot.
Oh, okay. Okay, I understand now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you just go in here, you would just grab it right through there.
Thank you.
Hey, ma'am, who's next?
I have a question. In the videos that people are doing now with the slow-mos, it's going into like 4 different screens.
Uh-huh.
How do you do that?
So again, same screen. We're gonna go to menu. We're gonna go to settings. And we're gonna go to visual effects creator.
Visual.
And remember, all these little white boxes, they're all effects. You have a limit of 3 effects, but the effect that does that is going to be collage. But you have tons of things you can try out. Like when you click collage, you can determine if it does a collage the whole video, if it does it the first half, if it does it just in the middle. So you really can play along with this and kind of figure out when you want it to go.
And then I could take it off if the next person doesn't want it, and then I'll just refresh the event, correct? With the QR code?
Again, I wouldn't, no. So you don't, so when you do stuff in here, this instantly changes whatever you're doing for your event. But I also wouldn't go, I wouldn't go changing stuff every video.
Okay.
However you have it set, you kind of want your videos to have some kind of consistency to them. Correct. And so if you're changing stuff every event, one, you're going to end up probably having a problem somewhere. But then, you basically are setting the stage to let people ask you to keep changing things. They'll be like, well, what else do you do? Then you come in here and they're like, what's kaleidoscope? I want to see how that looks. Okay, I don't like that one. Let's try thermal. Wait, nope. Do you have black and white? And you kind of want to just say, this has already been created for the person who created this event, whoever birthday it is, and this is what we've already set. So everything we do is, they don't need to see this screen. This is only for you. So I wouldn't go changing it every session.
Thank you.
No problem.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when we go into the designer, and then if we want to add a text or a caption for the event, I know we can put that there, but it has background and different background things. When you click on background, how do you apply that to the template? Because I have done that and I see the text come up in the template, but I don't see the background.
So you said background. So I'm assuming that might not be something for the 360.
Okay. Okay. And then I also heard that another young lady, maybe 2 young ladies ago, saying she paid a fee to get like the confetti and stuff like that, and that would be under another option under the effects. How do you find that, or how do you get that?
So right here, so one in the background right here, this isn't for the photo for the 360. Remember,
okay, that's where I was at too. Okay,
it's going to be transparent, so it can see actually what's going on in the video. So, but if you look on the top of the TouchPix website, you see where it says shop.
Yes.
You would click shop, and you have an option to purchase background effects or sparklers, confetti, things like that to enhance the video. We also have 2 other items in here. We have 3 items. One is going to be it's called a trigger box. And what it does is it connects to some of the booths, and it allows you to control the spinning for the automated booths right through this box, through the software of TouchPix. So a great option, in the future if you're looking for it. And then lastly, there's a yearly subscription in here. It's $1,200 for 1 year. What it does is it allows you to use any Apple ID when you're doing this. So if you have 3 phones in your household, 3 different tablets, but everyone else has different Apple IDs, with the regular TouchPix software, every device has to be on the same Apple ID. So this allows you to use unlimited sessions, unlimited events at one time, and also you're not limited to which Apple IDs you use it with. So this is all in the shop session under TouchPix website.
There is a video of the sparkles, but is there a video for the animated background effects? Because I really wanted to see what that does, because there's a video for the sparkles, but not the purple box thing.
I don't think there is at the moment, but what I can do is I can request one and see if we can try to show you what's in there for you.
When you say a video for the sparklers, is that under the effects when we go to the little thing?
So there's a YouTube video. So if you Google and just search TouchPix in YouTube, TouchPix YouTube, there's a TouchPix channel, and then there's one of the videos. If you go into this channel, one of the videos
Let me show you how you
is animated overlays.
So today,
and it shows you how to add the animated overlays, like I just showed you on there, and it kind of shows you how it looks as far as the sparklers and things of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if I'm doing a day event, do I need lights?
Do you need? I'm gonna say most likely no. Setting up stuff just in case of shadows, clouds, things like that might be good, but just making sure that if something does change with your outside elements, you're already prepared for it would never be a bad thing.
Okay, and if I have a personal iPhone, will calls and texts mess up the video?
Generally not that I've seen, but you can also put your device on do not disturb, so that stuff are not coming through while you're doing your event.
Okay. Thank you.
With
No
the
problem.
audio, we can't use the MP4, right? You have to use MP3.
It has to be MP3, correct?
And what site do you use to cut down the video?
So this is the website you can use. That's not it. Here you go.
And for the transparent background, it's Canva, correct?
You can do Canva, you can do the website remove.bg. You can just Google make image transparent background, and a ton of sites will come up.
Can you explain what the sorry. No, I wanted him to explain what the sharing devices are.
What do you mean?
Because do I need like 2 different devices, like an iPad and an iPhone?
Yeah, so basically your iPhone usually going to be on an arm where it's actually taking your video. The sharing station will be a separate device you have, so you're not having to go to your iPhone every time that's on the arm, take it down, or try to put a phone number in there to text. The iPhone will send the iPad the video, and then your customers will be able to go to the iPad themselves and text, view, email that video without you being there, and you can continue to do more sessions with your customer.
But will I need to actually, the iPad, will it still need to be an updated iPad to do that?
It doesn't have to be the newest one. It doesn't have to be like the 11 Pros that we mentioned before. It just has to be able to upgrade to iOS 14, which is a ton of the older iPads too.
iOS 14.
Yeah, so if you have an older iPad, a few years old, 3 or 4 years old, it'll still work for the most part.
Okay.
Hey, AJ, just to add up to this for people asking about the sharing station, if you're using a GoPro and you don't want to use too many devices, let's say you're using your cell phone as your control device, as soon as the everything upload, you can just go to gallery and share with the person. You don't even have to have a sharing station, an extra device connected. So you can just use one with the GoPro if you're using GoPro.
But if you're using any of the devices, you don't necessarily need two devices then.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
I have a quick question. What would be a reason why when you go to share, like through text message, it doesn't go through, or email? What would be the reason why?
It's based on your data speeds in the area. So if your upload speed is low, that's what's going to pretty much usually hinder you from being able to send that video out as soon as possible.
But I think something is wrong because I'm in, on my internet, and it's still not, like, nothing actually went through when I went to the app on the phone that I'll be, doing the video off of. And I just went directly to the video, and I tried to, send it through text message. I tried to send it through email in the code. It just says uploading file.
Do you have an active subscription?
I do.
Okay, so one thing you can look at, let me see. This is a new feature. If you look at my screen that I'm sharing right now, you go to the TouchPix and you go to menu, there's an area that says queue. So if you actually click the word queue, it'll open up and it'll actually tell you what has been sent and what hasn't been sent. So on the right hand side, it'll say how many SMS you have pending. It'll show you how many your galleries have came through and how many have hit it. Can everyone up the mute your phones? So as you go through this screen right here, what you'll be able to see is you'll be able to hit send out queue again if everything hasn't sent. And then when you send out queue, what it'll do is it'll reprocess and repush those things. So what I'll usually do is I'll usually take my app and then I'll usually put it in the middle of the screen, I'll flick it up and I'll close it. And then I'll come back to my app and I'll open it again. And then I'll go to the queue. And then generally when I do that and I hit send queue, it's going to start moving and it's going to start sending. And then as you go through it and open and close this area, you'll see it refreshing. And then lastly, you can re-upload all files to make sure everything is to your gallery as well before you close your event.
Okay, I would try that, but I practiced all weekend and none of the videos is still like open.
So
I actually been on.
Have you only practiced from home?
Yes.
So I had a friend who none of her videos went through at home. She was worried about her first event. She was worried that she was gonna have an issue sharing and everyone couldn't get, wasn't going out. She couldn't get any texts. She went to her event and every text was sent within 10 seconds. Again, it's all based on internet. So if it's not uploading and it's not sending, there's something that's preventing it from doing it. It could be your network. It could be something that's built into it, but it's definitely going to be internet based.
Okay, thank you.
Can you edit the videos after? Can you edit the videos after they're recorded? So
No,
if you record at an event, can you add a template after the fact, or does it have to be done before?
It's all done. It's all done before within the software by itself.
All right, thank you.
Now, question I have regarding the public URL. Now, let's say before as you're creating everything, you create your nice little barcode. Now you take it to the event with you. I mean, I have an idea how the URL thing works, but I think it's based online, right? Because if you generate the code before you go to the event, now when you go to the event, that's where everything upload.
Right.
So now you need internet access with that device for the person to be able to scan and get the code. Or do you know how long it take before the picture kind of upgrade to that URL?
It depends on the speed of your data in that location.
So that's mean if you have an internet problem, even you have the public URL, you still can have some issue with the person getting the picture through that URL.
That's correct, because those videos still have to upload to the gallery in order to be viewed by that URL.
Correct. Thank
Now
you.
we do have something coming out in the future, so keep an eye out in the next week or two. It's called TouchPix. It will require some hardware, but it gives you internet free sharing, where you can actually share through a QR code that's linked directly to your device and not to an online gallery. It'll be, like I said, some purchases necessary, but you'll be able to share within seconds all the videos to any customer. So a whole different kind of solution for you. So keep an eye out in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, I have one last question. What was the setting that you said if I was to purchase the sparklers and confetti effects, I have to go through something for it to go there and be on the choose that feature? What was that again? Over something?
So you have to go, it's going to be color overlay or overlay color.
Cover
So,
or color?
Color.
Okay, color overlay.
So if you look at my screen right now.
Okay.
Okay. So as you're going to menu, settings, visual effects creator. I'm gonna delete these really quickly. You would choose overlay color. Overlay black at the top of the screen. It will then add to the box, and then this is how you select the file that you want to do for which sparklers or whatnot you want to use.
So overlay black.
Overlay black.
But you know, you can't download that file to your iPhone because
Right.
it says it's too big. So I have to
Understood.
download it to my tablet.
Understood.
To my laptop.
So you have one or two ways to do it. You can upload that file to a Google Drive or a Dropbox. And then as you need the files, you can just grab which one you need and save it to your device. Or you can just email yourself to your phone the one file and then save it to your phone, and you'll be able to use it.
Oh, so I basically have to look to see which one of the files that I want to use, and then I have to send it to my email and then save it to my phone in order to be able to have it to work for me.
Correct.
Okay.
And what you want to make sure is once you find which one you want to use, like which sparkle, then you're going to make sure you choose the right template size too. Because if you're using template 2 from your designer, you want to make sure to choose template 2 for the sparklers.
Oh, well, how do you know to do that?
They're all the names of them. They'll say like sparkle 3, template 2, or template 1, template 4, template 5.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It's gonna say that for the animated too, because I don't have the sparkler one.
Yep, everything in those downloads are named by template sizes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
If you want to do a little animation background, I think you do it from the designer part, or you can do it here too on the video effect.
So for an anime, so there's 2 different type of overlays. There's one that doesn't move, that's a static. Those are done through designer. Something that moves and kind of goes between it. So like we just did right here, overlay black. You would do it through overlay black the same way. So say we chose. I got you. I'm gonna just give you a little view. So say we chose one, and I previewed the clip. So this will actually be an animated overlay, and then animated overlays are added through the actual software itself, through the actual phone. And then these are ones that you can get that move, the writing moves, the colors change. So they're a little bit more, like, they stand out a lot more, but what happens is they tend to take longer to load each video, which then is going to, create that a little bit longer of a time. So if you're used to a 30-second load time, this might add 15 seconds to it. If you're doing a 45-second load time on a GoPro, you might be over a minute. So just kind of keeping that in mind if you do use animated overlays.
Hey, I have a trigger related question. So I currently have the Dream Booth system, And at first test, it was working fine as soon as I set up to the movement option. And then when I switched it to the face recognition one, it would go blank after that colorful screen, the entire app would crash. And then when I tried doing it back to the movement option, it would sometimes start recording and then it wouldn't. And then, yeah, pretty much I'm just like not sure what other things I can troubleshoot with. And then if you can also define the difference between trigger box 1 and 2 and the trigger mode, I guess, and maybe that is simply just the reason why I'm having these issues with the arm, because it is an automatic one.
Trigger box 1 and 2, they work for different trigger boxes. So when you look on the website, it'll show like revel spin for the regular one. Some of the ones you have to hardwire into the actual box. Some of the other ones have Bluetooth where you can control through the without having to add any wires. So that's the big difference, is which 360s they work for. As far as your movement, it can be inconsistent at times because it's really trying to feel the phone and to feel if it's moving and if it's swinging. So that's why sometimes it may recognize it in 4 seconds, sometimes it may recognize it in 2, and sometimes it may not recognize it at all. And then you go to stop your swinging of your arm, and then all of a sudden your video is starting.
Gotcha. Would you recommend one over the other in terms of better accuracy so that you're not kind of switching between both, I guess, in events, or is there one go-to that you recommend?
I mean, I think that's one reason when I was starting, I switched to GoPro because it allowed me to start the session from my hand, so I didn't have to walk up to the phone and hit slow-mo, and I didn't have to worry about the motion trigger. I'm able to actually start it myself from the iPad I have in my hand, which kind of takes that option away of worrying about when it starts. And then also, if you're doing a trigger like that, every video kind of starts in a different place. So I'm able to really get consistency in where my videos start and end, and then they all kind of have the same look to them.
Okay, so I guess for me, because mine, it's Dream Booth, so I kind of have to, like you said previously in this meeting, to just kind of find that sweet spot in between, like the duration before recording, and then like you said, movement can really depend on like if my iPad can classify that as it's moving. But any recommendations on why it would like crash and then why it would turn black after the setting where it has like that colorful, I don't know, it's kind of like that colorful explosion, and then it'll go black and then it won't show on the screen that it's recording, but at the very end it'll show like the slow-mo video?
I don't, but what I would say is if it's doing it consistently, if you're looking at my screen, go ahead and pull down on your screen and hit the little red thing at the bottom left, and just have your screen recording while you're doing, your session. So if it does crash, you can send us that video, and then that helps us tell what was going on when it crashed, so we can kind of get in there and make sure we fix that for you.
Cool. And then my last question is, like you said, if you make changes within the web browser, it will change on the app, but the other way around, it won't work. So if I make changes on the app, it won't change through the browser. Is that correct? And then if I do changes through the web, is it best practice to then just refresh the app every time and scan that QR code to just make sure that those changes have been implemented?
So generally, as long as you have a good internet connection, it's going to send the updates. Like right now, like I'm on my phone. So let me try something.
And if I could back up there, Charles, too, I think I'm more of an iPhone user. I think Charles is more of a GoPro user, right? So I do tend to use the movement trigger quite a bit with my 360. So there's a couple of options, right? You have your sensitivity levels. You can set it to low, medium, or high. If you've already played with that and that is not rendering, the results that you want inside the app, if you go down to settings, you're gonna see an option that says threshold, right? Threshold is an addition to actually adjusting the sensitivity. For whatever reason, for me, when I moved it, backwards, it actually improved and made it more sensitive to the motion. So you may want to play around with it and move it and maybe find your sweet spot. But I'm an iPhone user. I like to use the iPhone based on the fact too that I use a live I use a live view and the screen mirroring option with the TV. So definitely, I hear what you're saying, and I think try the threshold. That may work a little bit better for you.
Okay, and then when you say that, do you just scroll it all the way to the left?
I scroll it all the way to the left, but if it's not rendering the results, try it the opposite way. You know, for whatever reason, you know, it really depends on your spinner too. I have a different brand spinners, and I know one from the other. It detects movement a lot different than, you know, from one to the other one that I have. So
and then what about the face size? I know that's kind of random. It's like small, medium, large. Is there like
yeah,
there like,
I don't use face recognition, but I'm listening to you about talking about the crash. I would be more concerned about if you have external sessions on selected, and if you do have external session on and selected, I'd be more interested in looking to see. Sorry, there's a train passing by. Give me a sec.
So while he's doing that real quick, I'm going to hit submit on my screen. And I just kind of want you to see when I just submitted the event. If you have decent internet, like I said, I'm not sure if it's going to go. It should actually send that those updates. Let's see, it's still sending it. So it just updated it on the website. So if my phone were to get that update, it should kick in by itself, and it should do setting up event, and it updates the event by itself. If it doesn't do that, then you'll want to go ahead and jump in and hit refresh, and then rescan that QR code to update the event.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, for your back to your crashes, I'd be more concerned to see if you have external session on. And typically, what causes some crashes sometimes is when you have the hand gesture feature on, because that feature uses up a lot of resources. You make sure you have that checked off.
Okay, cool. So again,
I think AJ, as you mentioned earlier, of course, pretty much everybody who take those videos, they share with social media. You said Slo-Mo template 2 and 5 give you the right resolution for that?
I like 2. I've seen a lot of people use 3, and I think 1 is popular because of the vertical shot, right? As far as social media, I think generally I see a lot of people using 2, and sometimes it's okay to look different from everybody else. I just want to say that. I want to throw that out there, man. You guys don't have to look like, you know, every other 360 booth. Try to develop your distinguished look, and you know, try to kind of, you know, develop your own identity in the game. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
And with that being said, you know, a lot of people are trying to get, you know, you'll see 20 people post, they want to get a full body shot. They were trying to get the legs and the shoes. That's going to be a lot of stuff that you're going to kind of have to play with on your own. Your arm may have to go out more to get more of a view, but then you got to remember the more your arm goes out, the more spinning radius you need. So you need more space. So these are all things that you're going to have to just kind of, you know, tweak while you're at home. And then, but when you get to your event, you may not have that much space. So kind of know where, you know, your arm and what views you're going to get. People love number 2 for the template, but I generally use 3. So it's just one of those things where, you know, you, like you said, you have to kind of figure out what works for you. Any other questions?
Man, I see all you.
I have one quick question. It's a hardware question. Would you mind sharing the brand of case you use to connect your GoPro to the arm?
Yes, I will. Are you able to send me a message on Facebook?
I absolutely am.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Can you only edit the videos on the laptop and not the iPad? I know you can't do it from the iPhone, but can you do it from the iPad?
What do you mean edit?
Templates?
Oh, the templates. So yeah, you can only do it from it can be done from an iPad, but it cannot be done from an iPhone. So your iPad will have access to Designer, but sometimes I've seen some things are harder to do when you're on the iPad.
Okay, and I'm a little slow. So can you tell me again what Facebook page the guy is on for those little cute borders?
So if you go to the Facebook page and you go to TouchPix users group. So
Go to, what you say, go to Facebook and go to, I'm sorry.
TouchPix users group. It's on my screen right now.
Okay, gotcha.
And then when you go in there, you can actually search the name Matt Calvert.
Matt Calvert. Okay.
And then you would have to go through his post, the post in the group, but he posted a links to the free overlays in there.
Okay, so tell him when I get my my next stimulus check, I'm gonna hook him up.
I'll make sure to let him know.
Okay.
We got anything else for everyone tonight?
I think that was it for me. That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have
I'm
a
sorry,
question.
For the Audacity, for the audio, I have to download that. It's not like I could just put it in the URL.
Correct. And I mean, I'll give you all one other option before we go. So like on my iPhone, I actually use an app called Music Cutter, top right corner. And I can actually take music and do the same thing right from the phone itself. So that's another option you have.
They gave that option earlier, Charles. Thank you.
I don't want to overcomplicate it.
No, give me all of it.
Did you say that was Music Cutter?
Yes.
Okay. I have a question. I literally just found the link, so I know I missed the whole thing. So will this be available to review afterwards, or when will the next webinar be?
For $99.99, it will be a bit. No, I'm just playing.
but we do take cash apps and tips. No, every Wednesday it'll be 8:15 at night. And then during the week, we'll be doing a Q&A also just to kind of get you ready for your events over the weekends. Beyond that, the webinar should be available at some point tomorrow. We just have to upload it and make sure it has everything in it for you.
Okay, because I don't have my my photo booth yet, so I am in the dark.
Well, understand this, you don't like, so to learn the software, you don't need your photo booth. So you can learn how it works. It's media nights where I just sit here and I made videos and I'm just doing video after video. I'm changing effects. I'm playing with designer. So then if you do that for weeks before you even get your photo booth, once you get your spinner, all you're doing is attaching the camera and you got everything else down. But when you get it, if you try and do everything at one time, what you're trying to learn how to work your equipment, and then you're trying to learn software, and then you book it for tomorrow. So, you want to give yourself as much time as possible for everything.
Okay, so this full recording will be available sometime tomorrow, you said?
Correct.
Okay. And so I was reading some of the comments, and it just seemed like a lot of people were having a lot of issues with the software.
Okay.
And having to refund money when they got to their events and stuff like that. So did I miss earlier in the conversation where you talk about how to avoid stuff like that?
Generally, things are going to happen. I mean, we are a software company. Things do happen, but at the end of the day, you can avoid it with testing things before you leave for your event. If you test the day before, test the day of, before you go to your event, you're going to find a lot of those issues that you will run into at your event. You're going to run into them earlier where we can actually help get you a fix and get you working before you even make it there. So that's going to be your big thing. There's some things that, they will come through. And, one big thing about us is that TouchPix, we're very into the software. We're very, very into the Facebook group. So if we find things we can make better, we're always trying to fix it and we're trying to update things. And that, sometimes, every phone, I tell people every phone has different apps. You look at my screen right now, we won't have the same apps I have. Every app runs differently and you're going to have some effects with those apps sometimes. So as things come along, we're definitely there to help.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback off of that because it is, it's kind of the elephant in the room, right? And I think Charles and I and the whole TouchPix team, we're disappointed with what happened, right? And just to be really clear on what happened is there was an app update and they triggered a glitch on the GoPro side, right? So it only affected GoPro users. At the same time, the fix for that app came out hours after it was discovered. So that in itself just speaks volume of how fast the developer can push an app to the App Store for deployment. But at the same time, like Charles said, like, look, I know there's a lot of new business owners here. Charles and I have both been on the game in the photo booth game long time now, years, right? And it's common practice with anything, right? You always want to be able to pivot to something just in case, right? So always have a contingency plan, no matter what it is, no matter if it's just a Snapchat app. Sometimes I've seen people use Snapchat for weird things, or TikTok or something like that, man. But you're always wanting to plan for a for a way out, because you don't want to be stuck in in a situation like that. We're very sorry that it happened, but we're definitely trying to address it, and we're trying to prevent it from happening again. But at the end of the day, the technology game is like that, right? We're gonna provide a consistent product. There's just, in this situation, there was just a glitch that was outside of our control, and the team handled it as fast as they could. And with that being said, we'll take our lumps, we'll take some losses, but at the same time, I know our product is very solid. The customer support is very solid, and we're just gonna keep grinding forward.
Now, are you guys still offering, I know at one point it was a 30-day free trial, then it went down to a 7-day free trial. Are you still offering that?
It is currently 7 days.
Okay. And is there a link to that on the user group?
I will post the email address right now in the chat, but all you would have to do is email this link, your email address for touchpix.com, and subject free trial, and they will get you set up with a free trial.
Okay, and it's only for 7 days.
Correct.
Okay, so then I will not activate it until next week, so I can have the app when I go on the webinar.
Okay.
Or something like that.
So just email it like Monday or Tuesday, or early Wednesday, so we can try to get it out to you. Or if you if you message me, we can try to get that set up for you before the webinar on Wednesday.
Okay, so the link to this webinar, is that how to message you all directly?
You can message us within the Facebook group on Facebook Messenger. Either post a post into the Facebook group, or you can message like CeeLo Rogers, and I will be able to assist you.
Okay.
Hi, I have a question. Okay, I'm back on now. I had the wrong app, wrong GoPro app. I have the right one. I've updated the iPad. When I'm going to refresh session, because do I have to now put the sharing station QR code in again? Because now I'm in a different app, right?
You're going to put in your sharing station QR code the second.
Right, but in order to do that, what am I click? Because I'm going to refresh setting, and it has me offline.
So which device are you on currently?
I'm on the iPad for the sharing station. I have the GoPro already set up.
What is the GoPro connected to?
The iPad.
Okay, so let's go. We're going to back up some. So with the sharing station, okay, so your iPad wouldn't necessarily be considered a sharing station, because it's the app that's running your software to control your GoPro. You can still share off of it, of course, but a sharing station would be like an additional iPad you would use to share.
Oh, so I'm supposed to have 3 devices.
If you're using it for a separate sharing station, yes, it will be a separate device. But
I have a question.
But give me 1 second, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
But as you connect to your your iPad to your GoPro, it uses the Wi-Fi network to connect between the two. So your GoPro does not have an internet connection. So it is going to say you're offline because you have no internet.
Because I'm on the GoPro's internet Wi-Fi instead of my real internet.
Exactly.
So so if I put the app on my phone, my physical phone, I can then use the iPad as my sharing station.
100%.
What am I using my phone for?
To run the app and to control the GoPro.
So run the app, control the GoPro. So I'll have the GoPro on the arm, the iPad is the station, but my phone is using it to control the app. Am I supposed to put my phone in do not disturb in order to do that, or?
You don't have to, but I mean, I would suggest it. And then also you have to make sure that both of your Apple devices are on the same.
Which they are,
okay.
But, so will the app will it kick me, if it's on my phone? My phone for other things throughout the night, I'm going on the internet, anything like that?
You don't want to do that. You want to make sure. So once you set your device as a sharing station, you don't want to go between apps. So that means if you're doing it for your to control the software, you don't want to leave the TouchPix app all night. You don't want to go to Messenger. You don't want to go to Instagram, do posts. You want to leave it on that one app.
I'm a little confused.
Well, go ahead and reach out to me on my Messenger, and we can do this offline for you.
Okay, so for tonight, because I'm just starting the test, I don't have to have the sharing. I can have this, but not as a sharing station.
Right, you just go ahead and use that connected to your thing, and then you can also share from there. But just understand that none of your stuff are going to upload to the internet, or it's not going to text out until you connect back to a Wi-Fi network once you're done testing.
Got you. Okay, and when I'm done testing, so I can just connect out, go into a Wi-Fi network, open up the app, and then I'll see it in my queue.
Yeah, the queue should start to refresh.
Right, once I get on the internet, just see it, look in the queue.
Correct.
All right, I got you. Thank you. And I'll try to reach out to you tomorrow.
No
Okay,
problem.
Charles, sorry, the audio again. I added it so the video effects creator, right? Now I'm trying to preview it. And also the collage is there. The collage is working, but can I not hear the music because it's in preview? I don't hear the music.
I'm not sure, but just go into your main screen and just click slow-mo and create an actual video.
All right.
Do an actual video and see what comes up in the actual test.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Go for it.
I bought a song on iTunes to test it out for the audio file. How do I download it?
Say that one more time.
I said I bought a song off iTunes to put it as an audio file for the music, and I tried to download it, and I couldn't get it. So how do I download the song to put it on?
So generally, generally stuff like that is going to be it's like I'm gonna say stealing music, but it's going to be copyrighted. That's stuff that labels own, that artists own, things like that. But iTunes creates different file types so that you can't take their music and use it in different locations. So looking for royalty-free music or areas to download it, you just may have to find music from another location.
And then I tried another thing where I downloaded the song and then I recorded the video, but the audio was super low. How do I fix that?
It's more than likely what audio you.
When people use the phones, they airdrop it from the phone. So he says what he does.
Hold on, sir. Hello.
I'm muted. Sorry.
Okay, so generally, it's going to be the quality of the music you're downloading and where you're getting it from. That's going to determine that lowness of the music in the background. So kind of keep in mind that's probably what's going on with that song being a different volume in the background.
Yeah, mine is just low from the Music Cutter app as well. It doesn't work in preview. I had to actually make the video.
Awesome. So it did work for you.
No. And then also, when I had my event, and even now, it's coming up as error. There's an error while sending the file to the local gallery. So I'll just press ignore, and then it'll be in my gallery. But I don't know why I keep getting the error, and I've been getting it like all week.
So if you look at my screen right now, you're getting an error because it's saying local gallery. More than likely.
Yeah, you have your local gallery activated. It's not supposed to be activated.
Yeah, more than likely when you go to your menu and you go to settings, you have that first option right here set to local gallery. So you want to make sure that's on none.
Is that why I'm finding the pictures in my photos?
Well, that's the error you're getting, but everything else should be fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to take 2 more questions tonight, and anything else we have as far as questions, we can definitely just reach out within the Facebook group tonight, or tomorrow, and reach out to us individually. Ebony, question?
Yes, I have a question. So I was trying to upload my overlay, and for some odd reason, it's giving me an error.
What error are you getting?
It just says something went wrong. And the graphics designer had emailed it over to us, a PNG. I saved it to my computer and then I uploaded it so that it wouldn't be corrupted or anything.
I would say go back to your email, resave it, make sure it just saves on there. Did you save it through an iPad or through your computer?
Through my computer. I was on my MacBook.
I would resave it and try to add it again and try a different browser. Like if you're using Safari, try using Chrome and see if that makes a difference. And if not, it could be something wrong with that file, but we can also take a look at it, see if we can help you out with it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, give me 1 second. Jennifer? Jennifer? Jocelyn?
Yes. I have a question. When people be referring and saying the graphic designer, is that the where do you go to contact them to have you with your like to put a person on the back on your background?
Pretty much you can just actually go into a TouchPix user group and you can just say I'm looking for a graphic for an event that I have coming up. But I will say first off for anyone is make sure you're giving them enough time, 3 to 5 days minimum. The last minute stuff is what kind of makes it a little bit harder. But if you make a post, it's at least 5 to 10 people in there who are going to respond to your post and say that I can help you and they can create a design for you, add photos to it and the colors of the theme of the event for you.
Now, are they expensive?
Generally, I would say depending on who you go to, you're probably looking between $30 and $50.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Hello.
And then give me 1 second. Jennifer, Jocelyn, both taken care of. All right, go ahead, sir. Last question.
As I was saying, like whenever I use the thing, it's not emailed to the person.
Okay. So I would just make sure you're checking that queue file. There's a video that Martin posted on how to use a queue and how to make sure everything is going out. Check your internet. If nothing else, close your current event, depending on how long you've had it open, reinstall the app. But definitely, I would test it from different locations because sometimes the location you're in just doesn't have the right internet and the right upload speed to upload those videos and make sure they're sending out.
Okay.
No problem.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. So I want to thank everyone for joining the call tonight. And definitely, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the TouchPix group. Feel free to message us and we will get to you within the next, as soon as possible tonight to try to, get you help with those questions or to get you answers, by tomorrow morning. So again, thank you everyone. And you all have a wonderful night and have fun with your software and good luck with everything.